We're live.
It doesn't match.
That was more than a 3 count.
I counted to 4.
Yeah, that was a 4.5.
That's the problem.
Y'all
You
are-
never
y'all-
know.
Y'all are quick.
You never know.
Y'all are too quick.
It's just easier to not have people like, are we there yet? And just be like, nope, we are here. Like,
We're
I
already
will say
live.
he normally starts with a 5 count.
I know, yes. Y'all wanted to change it up tonight. So, hey, everybody. We are live. We're going to be doing some Blades in the Dark tonight. High Shelf Gaming. We're doing stuff. My friends, I have something to share with you.
What?
We got a review copy of Cyberpunk Red.
Ooh.
So I'll be sharing that out after our game tonight. So we can like bury our heads in that for a minute instead of like looking at all this.
Give me that.
Yes.
Give
Yeah.
it to me.
Yeah. So that
So
is
Blades in the Dark, everybody gets 4 XP. See you next week.
Yeah.
It's like, deuces.
Let's do this. Yeah, no, so that'll be cool. It'll be cool to see this stuff. I hear there's some Easter eggs
Oh, cool.
What?
of various content creators.
Oh.
Dex.
So we got to find them. We got to find them all.
So we're ending the game early tonight. Downtime. Do your downtime. Get it done.
No, we got to do our roleplay. We got all of our cool sessions coming up.
No extra.
We know we got all our cool sessions. Last session was harrowing.
Was hard.
Was rough, and we got some conversation to have for sure. So this will be a good one. So yeah, all fun stuff for us. I really want to do more with that, of course. Let's see here. This Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
This Saturday we're playing
Start
Cyberpunk.
stream.
Yep,
Mhm.
we're playing Cyberpunk Red, of course, and then I think we have scheduled our next Werewolf game as the 17th. Everybody's come back so
Yes.
far and said the 17th is good, so we're gonna play Werewolf on the 17th, which is not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. I want to start mentioning it now, just so people know to expect it.
And we're gonna have everybody.
I know we're gonna have the full pack together for the first time, which is gonna be fantastic. Yeah, and I'm trying to schedule I need to start scheduling the Legend Keeper monthly Legend Keeper episode. So we'll get that on some Friday this month, right? And
I
that'll be
really
good.
want to pick Brayden's brain. I've been doing a lot of stuff, and I really want to pick his brain.
Yes,
But
yes. Oh yeah, the Bits and Mortar program, Jagos, really, really good point. So one of the cool things that I saw this first with the Traveler program. I don't know if y'all have ever played the Traveler role-playing game. I know you have, Heather.
with you. Yep.
They do Bits and Mortar where if you go to a local gaming store and you buy the physical copy of the book, you can like take proof of purchase, submit it to a website, and then get a free PDF, right? And Cyberpunk, the guys over at Cyberpunk, Artel Sorian, they're going to be doing the exact same thing for Cyberpunk. So if you go to the gaming store, buy the book, you get the PDF for free, as long as the store is participating, because they have to like on the receipt get the proper code for Bits and Mortar, right? And I think a lot of the online retailers are already in on that, so like double check that if you're looking to buy the book. You'll want to make sure that you get a free PDF out of the deal, which is great. Right?
Yeah.
And you're all looking to buy the book. That's
Yes,
like-
Yeah.
everybody buy the book, even
Oh,
players. That's gonna be one
Yeah,
of my.
of course.
That's gonna be one of my hidden hints. Like, hey, anybody who wants to like run a game, you should buy the book. Anybody who wants to play a game, you should buy the book. No more one book for the whole table. Everybody has a book. Let's help these game companies out.
You remember in the before times, guys, when you would sit around a table with your friends and then there was only one book and you all
Yeah.
needed to look at it.
Oh,
and-
because you leveled that night.
and
and-
everybody needs it.
I know. Yeah. See, I think that is a secret argument for doing like individual XP tracks for everybody. Because then like only a couple of people level every night, you know? But then that's less like egalitarian and somebody feels like they're falling behind, right?
I just remember Pathfinder, like leveling up in Pathfinder and then only having like the one book with all the feats or the most feats.
Mm-hmm.
Pathfinder is a slog, but
Yeah. Pathfinder 2 is a deeper slog. Like Pathfinder 1, you were like up to your knees in like crunch. Now you're like up to your like upper chest neck.
Like just the name is like chills down the spine.
Yeah.
I want to love second
My
edition.
palms sweat, and I'm like,
Yeah.
where's the calculator?
Right.
I had to use an app by the time I finished
Oh,
playing
yeah.
Pathfinder. I had to use like a
Yeah.
not great app.
Yeah. Yeah. The one that everybody uses. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So fortunately, tonight we're playing Blades in the Dark, where none of that is true. We have a very simple character sheet, and then a whole game written around that character sheet. As
And
the
a
story
very
goes.
and a very good Roll20 adaptation of that character sheet. So yeah,
Indeed.
everything
I
is very
love-
very simple.
We
Hard to
love
play
Blades in the Dark.
this
Yes.
game, which is so wonderful, in whatever.
I gotta-
in Roll20 at least. I don't know that they have anything for it in other platforms yet. So.
I really want to buy the book that you have in your hand right there, just so I can do
This one?
the. Just. So
The regular hardcover does have this art too. It's okay. It's not as shiny.
I want the soft cover.
Okay. The soft cover is the print on demand one from Drive Through RPG. So
Excuse me, what like Google stuff?
which I think ends up being the same price as the hardcover. But
No, but soft cover is better.
I agree. That's why this is the one that's always on my desk. So
I'm gonna hand it over to you, Mike. What are we doing?
I'm
Lightning
just going to
walls,
talk about like
ghosts.
the various published editions of Blades in the Dark.
That's what this stream is all about tonight.
See, there's the standard version, then this is the print on demand standard version, then there's the special edition, which was just from the Kickstarter backers, the special cover. That one has a whole extra chapter in it. But you got to find that one somewhere. Good luck at this point. Because God, it's been a while since this one came out. I forget how long it's been, actually. 2017.
I am sorry. I need to stop us right here for just a second to
Mhm.
tell you that the PDF and the softcover black and white book are $30, which is the same cost as the softcover book. So do
Well, if you
yourself
buy
a favor.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
And go for it.
Agreed. That's the right way to do this, folks. Just buy the whole thing and get the PDF.
Go out, give money to the independent creators you care about. All right. Go team. So, I don't know, Blades in the Dark is a game or something, I guess. Somebody want to explain what this is?
This is a game where we
is
play.
that my job? Yeah.
It's a game where we play scoundrels and scallywags, and things happen in Duskfall where there was a lightning wall, or where there is a lightning wall because millennia ago the moon shattered. Didn't complete the quest that they were supposed to.
Or they did. Something happened, right?
Something happened. And now we live in darkness with a lightning wall and ghosts and other stuff. And I forgot the rest of what Mike says, but that's the gist of what I remember.
It might touch on seaweed or fish or eels.
Mushrooms.
Besides
yeah.
that, yeah. So, but that's a shockingly accurate version of like. So
It's
we
okay,
don't just run the
occasionally
game
listen.
next. That's like
I still have to ask how dice work. Like every time we play.
you draw circles and you fill in little wedges. That's the whole game. That's the
You're just
whole
playing
game.
Trivial Pursuit
part.
with knives. There's knives, and then
True.
you're filling in your Trivial Pursuit pie wedge.
You mean my normal Saturday?
Right?
A pursuit with knives.
We got
I
cutthroat
don't
at my
know.
house.
Do
I'm
you
just saying
do
it.
you know where the hook bills reside? Is that a sports question, an entertainment question? I don't know. But I'm filling in
See,
my
if
pie
there's-
wedge.
If there's gonna be a board game that's gonna come down to knives, that's gonna be Monopoly. Let's admit that.
It's so
Right?
true.
Like,
It's so true.
Very true.
So
May,
true.
may,
I have-
may or may not be knives involved.
it's
I
not a
have-
game. It's a family argument in a box.
I have an off-stream comment to you guys about Trivial Pursuit. when we go back.
I'm excited.
Anyway,
So yes, Heather, you nailed the whole damn thing. Yeah, Duskfall. We're scoundrels and scallywags. The group's shadows. You guys do like subterfuge and spy type things. Last time, we broke onto the grounds at Skurlock Manor.
Such a bad idea.
Man, was it?
Best.
Such a
Oh,
bad
good
idea.
times.
Mm.
While at Skurlock Manor, we found out that the Wraiths are working for him. We stole Snowflake back. Snowflake the unicorn. Good times.
Victory.
And that Skurlock has a fully functional, huge ass combat hull, which is being operated by Hutch after you destroyed the jar that had his friend in it. So I'm sure he's not holding any grudges about you killing his friend repeatedly.
He's still
And that
around.
thing,
Boss is still
oh yeah,
around.
Right.
no, Bastapa's got like shoved into the lightning wall and like scorched
Oh,
up.
you're right. We did trade him out. Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Snake demon lady.
Took care of him.
Yeah.
Almost like Snake Demon Lady.
hmm My heart.
Yeah, so Hutch is the ghost in the shell, or something.
The hole. The
Or
hole.
Ghost
ghost in
in
the
the
hole.
machine, maybe. That's anyway. Yeah, so that thing can like crush stagecoaches and punch crates and like launch ohm across a clearing when
Yeah.
it
Like shit on
tries. And
fire.
shoot flames. Yeah, it's all kinds of good stuff. So that's out there. But yeah, you guys managed to steal Snowflake back, and that was kind of where we left off last time. Was
It's not all we did. We destroyed the basalt thing.
yes, the
Oh,
big
yeah.
basalt slab altar that was in the middle of like the creepy hedge maze that Lord
Yeah.
Skurlock keeps on his grounds for some reason.
Yeah.
That had the like etching in the shape of like that bottle / musical instrument for alien thing with multiple fingers
Yeah.
etched onto the surface of it.
That's not going to
So-
bite us in the ass.
I was like, man, the Skurlock ain't pissed at us now. Yeah, he.
Yep. Now it might take a quick second for them to realize who did it, because we were wearing the faces of the wraiths
Wraiths.
that were there, the two wraiths that were there and were seen by his people, and they were in that stagecoach that got smashed by Hutch. So maybe they died. I don't know, or maybe their faces are scarred and disfigured now. Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, it does. It's not going to take them long, I'm sure. Yeah. So
But
we'll
if
see.
they do find out, then it's not like Hutch knows where you hang out or anything. So it's gonna be fine.
So many problems.
It made my stomach turn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay. All right. So he knows where we live, sure, but we have all that security. We paid for 2 dots of security,
This is true.
which is
Mhm.
more than enough to stop a giant rampaging robot.
Hey, he can't be invisible any longer, though.
That's
We
right.
took care of
Yeah,
that
we
problem.
took care of the
That's
invisible
right.
part.
That's right. That's right. So we'll see him coming.
He can punch through a building, but besides that, yeah,
It's gonna be fine.
he's
We're
not.
gonna
He
be
won't be
fine,
invisible
Mike.
doing it.
So screwed.
Mike, I
Fine.
got a question. Is there a Blades in the Dark of equivalent to the Psycho Squad for like Cyberpunk for Borgs? Like, is there an equivalent to that? Can we hire them? Is there?
Somebody who can
I got-
take care of this problem for us.
I got a lot of stash I'm willing to burn on this one.
Just have to survive, guys. Just have to survive.
I don't know.
Hey, spirit wardens, we think there might be somebody that you'd be concerned about, but he's also been in the city for hundreds and hundreds of years without dying, so we don't know if you're actually going to go and do anything about it.
No, we totally have to get Sitar's protection at this point, which just means we anyway. Anyway, we'll talk about it. I'm sure.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it'll be
It's
fine.
fine. Nothing.
It'll be great.
Plenty of time. Nothing to worry about. So yeah, in terms of how Blades operates, we run in that rolling cycle of finding out what's going on, doing a score, and then having downtime, where it's after the score, where you tend to your wounds and indulge your vices and talk to your people and work on your long-term projects and stuff like that. And that's where we are this evening.
Yeah.
And as we start out the night, so yeah, where did so first question, what happened with Snowflake?
Where is
Snowflake,
Snowflake?
Snowflake is right now hidden in one of our turf hideouts, uh, because I was told not to go to Welcom's Manor,
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
and I will, and because I believe Maribel and Ghost have squashed the little beef that they had because of what she done for him.
Buried some
It's
hatchets. Finally.
yeah, so it's like it's one of those like I'm gonna respect that. So right now she's kind of like in that area trying to Ghost is trying to figure out the next step because he's he's got he wants to go talk to the menagerie, but he doesn't know if he wants that to be on display so soon after we just broke into a vampire's house.
I don't know, dude. You could like rent out the unicorn at the menagerie, right? That could be like
That is the plan, but we gotta like Ghost
Imagine
is not.
how much money you could make on kids' parties.
I think
Oh,
it's more
go-
timing. I think it's
Oh
a
my
timing
God.
It's a
thing.
timing thing. It's more of a absolutely. That's a great idea, cousin.
Could you imagine that thing near kids? Like, who would put their children next to an alligator-mouthed, black-furred unicorn? Nobody. But there would be somebody.
There would be somebody. What are you talking about?
I was like, do you see where we live at?
Yeah.
There is
Sure.
absolutely going to be somebody like super rich from White Crown who would be like, "Oh, we'll go over and we'll see this dainty little unicorn. Nothing can possibly happen to us. We have all the money in Duskfall."
Minus one child.
Yeah.
Hey,
Eh.
I just figured out a way for Demas to take out Homegirl in a nice, easy, accidental way.
Children's
we're-
birthday party at the menagerie next to the unicorn.
Absolutely.
We put a bunch of like unicorn treat scent on her, and then that's it.
Done. Easy. It was a tragic accident. We got to
That
kill
or-
it. No, it's a rare creature. We can't do that. It's protected under the environmental law of Duskfall.
Environmental laws of Duskfall, as if they have that.
Yeah.
It's an
that's
endangered
it.
species. Like,
Can't do that. Should have known better. Should have never climbed in the cage.
There it is.
Anyway, so yeah, that's right now. I think that's what we kind of ended on last night, like somewhere in one of the turf spots that we own.
okay.
Mhm.
Could be that room where we killed the bounty hunter, because you don't know, nobody's going in there, right? Like that room is jacked. Could be in there
Things
with some,
happened in there.
yeah, it could be in there with some hay or seaweed or whatever it is. that it
Obviously,
needs.
the fish dude. What was his name?
Oh,
Skinner.
Skinner.
Skinner's watching, along with some I don't know other members of our gang, so it just doesn't get taken again. Because Lord knows,
Yep.
I don't want to do that again.
Yep.
I'm sure Milos is very happy. Milos is very happy to go watch a unicorn. I'm sure.
Yes, let's send the big scary demon guy out there.
Milos in it for like somebody probably comes back and like Snowflake is there and Milos is there and they're just staring into each other's eyes.
Trying to figure out the secrets of the universe.
Mhm. Yep.
You good, Milos? You good?
Yep. Yeah, we're just working it out. Don't worry about it.
All right.
For sure. Okay.
Let's see, he'd be the one who's like,
Absolutely.
right, if we like hammer up some boards along here, it's kind of a little pen to keep it in one spot, like, right, like you still want to do construction carpentry to help around situations.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so we know where the unicorn's at. That's good to know. Not writing that down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to move this damn thing out of the city. It's too hot.
Good luck outside of the lightning wall.
No, I don't want to do that.
I won't be joining you on that adventure. Just
Maybe Satara could watch your unicorn.
we're gonna have to talk to Zatara tonight. I just foresee it happening, guys.
We need to figure out who our patron is.
Yeah.
That too.
That too.
Oh. First, I would like to not have myself busted. That would be nice.
Oh yeah, let's heal you up.
Yeah, let's do some
Let's do
downtime.
downtime
'cause
actions.
Let's heal you up.
people got pretty roughed up last time. Even Maribel took some damage. So
Not as nearly as much as the guys, but yes.
yeah. Well, you
in-
didn't get
Step into my
punched by a
office.
9-foot robot that launched you 40 feet across a hedge maze.
Right.
You want to go first, Ghost?
I mean, yeah, sure. So, we're gonna give what we doing home, like.
This time I want you to lay down on the dentist chair, but like face down.
Okay.
I got some new ointments. I've been infusing them with gunpowder. I know there's some medicinal properties in there with that saltpeter.
Right. This is gonna sting, isn't it?
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
and don't forget, and Ohm places a kind of dirty glass mason jar next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Still need those 6 teeth today.
Right.
A
You're
little like pair of pliers next to that.
Yeah. Hold on.
I-
Wait. Before we do this, he'll get. He's gonna get up. You're gonna hear some rummaging in another room with a little click. It's like, there it is, and he's gonna go ahead and grab himself a bottle, shut it, and it's like, God, I love having a boss that has this much liquor in the house.
Does seem to be a bit of an escape for you, yes.
Kess is just sitting there and not even in the conversation, but you kind of walk past. It's like one day he's gonna put a lock on that,
At some
keep
point,
showing up.
I'm sure I'll find another supplier. It just starts housing it, and it's like, okay.
Yep.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. So when you go to take your teeth, make sure that you get matching teeth left and right.
I'll take them from the back so the wife doesn't get upset.
Okay. Whatever it takes. Now, let's get you all healed up, cousin.
All right, let's see. Healing.
You
4
get
dice?
4 dice for me.
Okay. Submit. Hey!
So yeah, 6 is 3 ticks on the healing clock.
We're
Nice.
just going to go ahead and I'm going to pay 1 coin to get that done.
Okay. Then that ups it to being a crit, which is 5 ticks, and you have the 1 that carries over. And then all your stuff comes down by 1 row. Right? All your level 2s come down to level 1. All your level 1s fall off the bottom.
Oh, that's the incorrect button to hit. That was supposed to be delete. Busted ribs go to bruised. How do you spell bruise?
BRUISED.
Yep.
There we go. Appreciate you. He's like, that stings a lot. Saltpeter and gunpowder. Interesting combo.
Yep.
And then he's like, all right, let me go to the washroom and I'll start pulling these teeth for you.
Thank you, cousin.
No problem. So I'll take another less effect, sore mouth. Just for
You're ripping teeth out of your mouth.
yeah. As he walks by with the pliers, he's like, hi, Maribel.
So Maribel's sitting on the couch or chase or whatever, and has been since they got back. Kind of just with her head down and her arms crossed. And you walk by, you go do your thing. And then there's kind of this
kind of ambles in. Yes, Maribel?
Maribel lifts her hand up and it's covered in blood.
Oh. How how long has this been going on for?
Since we got back.
Oh, okay.
She'd like
Can,
carefully get up and like pull back like the coat she was wearing, and then there's like this huge like blood stain on her side, where like this piece of like rock is also like in her and sticking out at the same time.
is it that basalt from
Yes.
the thing? Okay.
For sure. It's like a ragged shard of that in her side.
Ohm is like kind of crestfallen, and it says, "Okay, need to get that out of you. Need to clean the wound. Was this from? Of course it was. Rebel. Things happen fast there, and
It's okay.
I never intended anybody to get hurt, least of all you.
I know, but we need to take care of it, I think.
Yes, before it gets worse, and I need to be smarter about these things.
Let's focus on the task at hand.
Okay. Well, I know we did the right thing, and I'm sorry that you're paying for that.
I agree that we did the right thing.
Okay. Well, let's tell you what. One moment, and Ohm like cleans off the dentist chair of all the like
Aw.
blood and stuff
How
from
kind.
from
Thank
when,
you.
from when Griffith was there. Is like, okay, we'll have to remove the coat, or at least that portion of the coat. Can it be mended, or should we just cut it away?
I think the overcoat, if you'll help me off with it, that's fine. And we can cut the fabric of the dress.
Okay. And Ohm goes and gets their like fine tinkering tools that has like the really sharp scissors and all that kind of stuff, and very carefully cuts the fabric so that like it's a straight cut, and that like there's nice angles, so mending it later on is going to be easier to accomplish, and that kind of thing. um and do everything you can to make it so that the fabric is recoverable as well as possible. And say with blood it's a little tricky. You can get your hands on some vinegar, or there's some old alchemicals that help remove the blood. Unfortunately, the iron in it may stay with the clothes, so Cerberus or other hunting animals may notice.
Good to know. Extra measures are necessary
Indeed.
then. Okay. I'll have to remember that about the coat too. Then.
Okay. And Ohm will like, instead of like spitting in their hands, we'll do like a little gentle lick to be a little more genteel to a patient that they've never like had to work on before. And we'll probably ask at some point, say, how long has it been since you've been injured? You have the fewest scars of us, I think.
I think I got a bit bruised during the cart when we were fighting for the cart with the bomb. But nothing significant. Even that wasn't that significant.
Okay. That is
But
good.
this is the first. And she kind of always there's always like a stop after a breath or something. I think this is the first internal injury I've taken. Don't like it. I can tell you that. Not quite sure how you and Ghost handle it.
About as well as you are, if I'm honest. And as they're like getting the the material out and all of that kind of stuff, just to kind of keep the conversation going, and maybe also to like distract Maribel just a little bit. I would ask Maribel, after the explosion, when Hutch came in that behemoth of metal, you stood between me and it. Why do you protect me?
Why do I protect you?
Why do you do that? Is it because of the tinkering?
No. That's important. Don't get me wrong. You know that I am focused on certain things, and the masks and the successfulness of the crew are the one of those. But I think among all of us, you're the one that I would consider a friend. And it felt like the right thing to do it felt like the right thing to do.
I agree. You are my friend, Maribel. No one else was there, but you were.
Absolutely.
I don't know that. I know that Griffith would do something like that, but he's family. And thank you. It was on my mind, and I didn't mean to question you. I just wanted to understand.
No, it's okay. I get it. I'm not. I'm a bit of a prickly pear, I suppose, and
You have to be to spar with Demas.
well, you know, running a gang isn't exactly, a ball of kittens or something. You have to have a backbone and a mean streak, I guess. But that to be said, I care about what happens to you, and I wanted to make sure that you would get out of there and be safe.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I need to get some bandages, and I'll be right back.
Maribel just kind of sinks back in the chair, just
Mm-hmm.
when you like used too much energy for a little bit, and you're just like.
I think Kess gets up and like she's moving around the room, and she does like come over next to Maribel and like not really turning and facing and talking to her and acknowledging her, but like she sets down a teacup on a saucer and like pours some tea into it, and then she takes the pot and like gets 2 more cups and like goes out into the living room area.
Thanks, Cass. Mm-hmm.
Ohm would return with some bandages, and probably looking at the teacup and kind of like look at it a little sideways, and can I sit down? Did Kess give you tea?
Yes.
Today is full of surprises.
Isn't it though? Wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah.
I think like it's like the far end, like it's across like the long axis of like the building to see where she went to in like the front, which is where there's like kind of like a couch and a chair and like a coffee table type thing, and she has two teacups that she sets down there, and then like Lorena's there, and like the two are just like chatty and friendly. It's like wait, Kess?
My wife has that way with people. Very talkable face.
Right. Yeah. Apparently.
Did Maribel's emotional moment make Kess like believe in friendliness or something?
Well, she didn't just like suddenly magically decide to make the pot of tea then. It was already on the way. But She dropped off a cup before she went where she was actually going.
Very kind. Very kind.
Amazing. So yeah, roll your heal. 4 dice, my friend.
Can you roll it?
Yeah, sure thing.
Thank you.
Number of dice 4. Submit. I got you a 6.
Thank you, sir. So
Um,
that's
yeah,
3 boxes.
That's 3 ticks on the clock.
Guess who's healed? Because I took the feet or the thing.
Where you get the one that's filled in?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Because I hate it. I hate the rule. I hate when Casey has to spend money for it. Like
I'm gonna take that rule next time I level up because
Yeah.
that's why I
it's
asked if
getting
I
old.
could have one more veteran because I wanted that one. So I guess pulls the piece of
Shard.
salt
Like,
out, the shard out.
Yeah.
It really was only level 1 harm, guys. Like it wasn't that big of a deal, but
I like the idea that
Well,
it's like
it's
that,
like getting
looks,
cut in the scalp. It bleeds a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
mhm.
I like the idea that it looks bad. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maribel surely isn't enjoying it. She's not made for this shit. But she'll like hold her side after like the bandages get put on, and that sucked. But thank you.
Yeah.
You think it'll be all right?
The wound, yes. This will be fine. I hope that, well, I think of a lot of us, you're the toughest. So, I know that you'll be fine as well.
Are you all right?
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Nearing the ends of projects makes me anxious.
I know. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, there's another project coming. And, you have my backing for that and Demus's, it seems. And we do still have things to figure out about the masks.
Yes, that's true. There's some couple of projects there, so it'll be still a little while yet before they're finished. Yeah, that's a good point. I maybe need to extend my thought of how close we really are, or maybe more in the middle than we are towards the end, given the level of work that still needs to be done.
I think so. And you never know. We might need to make things twice.
I have an idea about your request.
Do you? I am all ears.
I don't think that Griffith is going to like it.
Well, I would say he owes us one.
We'll see. See.
You
Either way,
need to take care of yourself. You also look hurt.
I do. Yes. I should attend to that. And they're like they're hurt. Like
They're hurt.
yeah, they've got a busted up clavicle or something like that, collarbone.
Mhm.
I want to say there's like still like pieces of like bramble and branch like snagged in your clothes. Or
Oh yeah, the
something like
face
that
is all
from, like,
cut
yeah.
up. You know,
Right.
Mhm.
the neck stalks are probably all lacerated as well, just from the flying through brush.
A little piece of like thorny vine that's like still stuck
Ugh.
in.
I hate
clothes
those. I
and
hate those.
yeah.
The like long stringed plant that's just thorns.
Oh, Briar.
Oh, I hate that stuff.
I got some on my property, man, and I accidentally walked through it one day, and it's the worst.
You can't get rid of it.
No, it's
Mhm.
Awful.
mm-mm.
Is there a way I can assist you?
Yes, actually, it is difficult to do this on my own. So, let us trade places. You be the doctor.
Sure. Like Maribel looks like about to spit in her hands, and then she just kind of gives them this look like
I'll do that part.
like she's just like can't.
Yep.
But yeah, she'll get up slowly and trade spaces.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna heal myself. I'm gonna spend the stress
Okay.
to heal myself. Is it 2 stress?
Trying to find that. Upstairs.
I know it's at least 1.
Downtime.
Recover. Tinker for a PC of the Physiker.
Oh yeah, here I'll splash.
It's 2.
You may heal yourself if you have the physical or subspecial ability, but you take 2 stress when you do so. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, healing. 4 dice.
Healing time.
So normally I get 4 dice. If Maribel is assisting in any way, would I get another dice, or should we just like thematically say that Maribel is assisting and, you know, providing me?
Is Maribel spending stress to assist?
No, she is not. Sorry, I am
No,
1 stress away from a trauma.
You say scalpel, she hands you the scalpel. You say,
Right,
but
right,
she's not
yeah.
like, I think you need to be to the left, right?
Right,
Like,
perfect.
No. She's helping keep him steady. Holy shit!
Holy hell!
That is 4 6s.
What the fuck?
That is
That's
4
all
6s.
the 6s for the rest of the night.
Well,
for all
that's
of
it,
us.
everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you
We're all
next
done.
week.
We don't
We're
want to push our
done.
luck.
We can't do
Deuces.
anything else.
Catch us Saturday for our next stream. Well, that means you did it, right? Well, you did a part of it, right?
Well, it means you crit doing it, which is 5 ticks on the clock.
Right. So
Is it like a
so
super
one
crit?
yeah. Can I super
Can
crit?
you super crit? Like, can he bring down a couple things?
I get to get rid of
How
all
about-
the
how
level
about-
1 stuff, right?
Well, yeah. So how about we keep it with like you all the level 1 goes away, level 2 ticks down to level 1, and like take the stress back.
Oh. Well, I'll take the stress.
See,
back.
this
That'd
is
be-
why Maribel helped.
Yeah.
Maribel helped, and this is what happened.
I love it. All right. I'm
Jesus
all in on
Christ.
that. Holy smokes. Okay. So instead of a broken collarbone, I now have like a stiff neck. I don't know. What would that be like? Maybe a bruised collarbone?
Bruce Collarbone probably is the.
Bust a sternum.
Oh yeah.
So,
Perfect.
Okay, so
Love
you
it.
had something you wanted to do?
yes, actually. So Griffith is standing in the doorway, kind of leaning back. He was in the hallway,
Mhm.
like just leaning back, and he heard what Maribel was saying.
Yep.
And he was like shaking his head, and then after y'all started doing it, he kind of just stood in the hall, like in the door, to wait for Ohm to get healed. And he's like, kind of with a swollen half jaw. He's like, cousin, got your teeth. And he puts the jaw down, and he's like, Maribel, when you're ready, I would like to talk to you.
Griffith, this is good. This is very good. Since you're both here, this is probably. I also have something. Griffith, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, cuz.
Let's close the door.
Okay.
I'll
Gets up.
shut.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was already there. I'll be like, I'll shut it. I'm like, what's up?
Maribel sits down in Cass's chair because
Sure. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's probably a little plate of like one little wriggling worm that's like trying to work its way off the plate, and it can't. There's like just can't quite get over the lip.
I'll pick it up and be like, tasty.
Yes.
She hates it when you take her food.
it was one last worm. She can deal.
So, the request from our patron. This is Griffith. Why I'm asking you for teeth.
Mm-hmm.
The request from our patron is that one mask is able to speak with many masks, and if you've noticed, all of our technology is provided on a sacrificial basis to what powers the mask. And I've been able to do that by, grabbing odds and ends, bits of things that can be sacrificed, little fetishes to fuel aspects of the mask. This request of being able to speak with many things, many masks, has me thinking that Griffith, your teeth are a potential key to this. That because you can produce so many, it is conceivable that I could produce masks that can talk to as many masks as I can get teeth for. So you understand what I'm doing with them, Griffith.
Mm-hmm.
That there is a purpose to the pain that you're going through, and I appreciate that. There is another ask, and that is that we be able to influence this in some way. That is harder because whenever I pair things, it is from the same creature. Griffith, since I'm now on the road of using your teeth to pair a vast array of masks, potentially 6 at this point, maybe more as you were able to provide more, to have something that could influence a lot of them, I might need one more thing from you.
What would that be, my cousin?
I frankly don't know yet. I'm hoping it would be something small, like, I don't know, digit off of your pinky, knuckle off of your pinky, or some other sacrifice, but something that may come up again, and I want to make sure that the 3 of us are aware. And if we have some thoughts around this front, Griffith, if you can think of anything that you are particularly comfortable with losing.
The teeth were like my comfort, but
Well, let's hold that thought for a moment. What makes this what are you thinking?
Oh,
you broke up.
Yep, I saw it. What makes this different? I thought you said that you could pair the 6 teeth together. Why do you need an extra body part or bone from Griffith?
so the way that it works with the voice-to-voice, mass-to-mass communication was 2 items that are paired from the same creature. Two, the left and right rib from a fish, or the the canines from our bounty hunter, dearly departed bounty hunter. The fact that Griffith, you're able to produce so many teeth is really a boon for our project here because, you make new teeth when you need them, and this project could use a fair bit of that. When it comes to having power over these masks, though, that requires a more significant sacrifice.
My blood. Hear me out.
And
Hear me out. Wait a minute. We got that. He points over to the vial of demon blood.
Yes,
That's been sitting up there for a minute.
it has.
And with me being touched, still burnt, and he shows his arm like still having the scars, and it's like, and I've noticed my attunement, though raw, is still somewhat basis. Maybe we can use my blood mixed with that before we start cutting these off. he does this thing, and it's like,
That is interesting, yes. The power that courses through your veins is not insignificant. Okay, cousin, I will think on this. And I may ask for a donation for experimentation.
he flicks open his Takaroshi blade. Is like, you just tell me when.
not yet. I don't think we're to that point. I have 2 thoughts, concerns. If we install some sort of mechanism for control, how that will only influence what we give them, correct? Like, they'll still be able to duplicate your work, potentially, correct? I mean, that's what we think the aim is for them.
Right. Right.
So we'd only be able to control what we give them.
Unless what we give them are the instructions that include reduplicating our control method in the very design of the mask.
Okay, that's smart. The other thing that crossed my mind was if there was a way to make the masks usable only for a period of time.
Yes, an expenditure of energy or fuel that they have to come back to us.
I'm wondering if that. Well, I don't know about your teeth, but
No, my blood.
well, just more of a safety mechanism. I think what we need to do, honestly, is really get down into it and find out who the patron is. We've let that go for a long time now. I know
Yes.
it's on Demas's idea front as well.
It's
And I
on the
believe
board.
you mentioned Zatara wanted that info as well.
She does.
Okay.
Ooh. His eyes kind of his where his eyebrows would be kind of raised, and it's like, wait,
I,
we gotta go talk. We gotta go talk to Satara again.
at
Not
some
yet,
point.
but
At some point. Yes. Last time I spoke with her, she asked me if I knew who my patron was, who was commissioning these masks. And I don't. And it was imparted to me that discovering that information and sharing it with her would bring us benefit.
I think the more and more that we go forward, we're going to indebt ourselves to Zatara. We're going to need to, given what we just did.
Having a giant snake lady on our side would probably help us out on the security front.
Over the next couple of days, I will be going across the river, so I might be able to find out additional information on that front.
Oh. Okay.
And kind of go from there. I need to check in perhaps with Demas's contact over there as well. Maybe we could just get some additional info. It would be nice if I could just talk my way into it rather than any clandestine sort of infiltration.
Right.
But that will be the next goal, unless Demas comes back with his plan.
Hopefully he's okay.
I'm sure. Omer, are you sure you're all right?
I
Are
am.
you feeling better?
I am. I'm glad we had this discussion. Thank you. And I will get to work on pursuing this alternate method that you shared with me, Griffith.
Anything for family and for this gang at this point. So.
I think the two of you have a discussion. I'll leave the workshop to you. I'm gonna go grab a bite.
Cool. Oh, and cousin, are you gonna go see your person today?
I was going to, yes.
You mind if I tag along?
That's fine. I'll wait.
Cool. Thank you. So.
Marvel is trying to do this thing where she's out of energy, but kind of like gets ready for the next thing. Like, okay.
Don't.
1, 2, 3. Motivate. Okay.
Yeah, no, she's still sitting there. And she's just like powered down for a second and powered back up. Like, we're good.
I ain't gonna take much of your time, Maribel. And he sets
Fine,
the bottle in front of her. I was like, I was listening. What you were talking about with Ohm. And what you did for him. I was looking through the scope of my rifle, and I saw what you did. There's more than just getting that damn unicorn back, and I appreciate that. But the full-on bow that you got from me was because you did what I would have done. almost right. I would have stood in front of that thing. That's expected of us, Takarosi, especially blood. We don't hold that expectation for humans. And what you did there was show incredible dedication. And to that, I see you as blood.
You realize that for like the last 4 weeks, I've been talking about murdering you, right?
Absolutely. And we are a we are definitely a interesting pair. But
Yes.
it's what family is to me. There are many of my family member back in my homeland that would probably love to see me and my wife strung up. But we prevail. We argue, we fight. But at the end of the day, when it comes to family, you're always there for them. Now, does that expect I expect you to be in front of me if a giant robot? No, I do not.
To also be fair, you could probably withstand far better than me or
This is true.
I mean, let's be smart about who's going to jump in front of what for whom. You know what
Right.
you know what I mean? Yes.
Yes. But from here on out, I will do my best to see your goals and Demas's goals furthered.
I appreciate that, and I know that I've been incredibly rough on you for some time now. Some of it not needed, if we're going to be fair. Some of it is. I mean, I'm not taking back everything I've said
Oh,
ever.
I wouldn't expect nothing less from you.
Okay, good. I am not going to say this to Ohm. There is probably going to come a time where it be Demas. There might come a time where it might be me or it might be Demas. And I'm asking if that time comes that you pick the side of family. Now, I'm not looking for that time to come. I feel that the working relationship we have is going well and should hopefully continue to go well. But as we get into further positions of power, people can start to turn on one another. And I am aware that it could happen.
He takes the teacup that Cass left you and pulled a little bit to family.
She'll take the teacup and, pinky up, gently clink, and drink to that. To family.
Let's hope it doesn't come to it, but you got me.
I am certainly not wishing for it to come to that. But I am prepared for what may happen.
Right. Now I gotta, if that does come, I have to convince my wife because her and Demas have more in line than you would assume.
That's fine.
Wow.
But if you don't mind, Griffith, thank you. I am going to try and make it home.
Take Cerberus with you just in case.
I'm sorry. I cut out.
Take Cerberus with you just in case. He needs a walk. He's been cooped up anyway.
All right.
Oh. Be proud of that scar.
Why?
It's Takarosi way. We earn our scars in battle.
Understood. She kind of smirks, then pulls her coat back on slowly. And come on, Cerberus. And we'll leave.
All right. Cousin, shall we? I have shopping.
Yes, let's do that. Real quick, out of character, can we take our break? Do you want to take it right after this?
Whenever you want to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I do it now?
Yeah, I don't have a big thing on the shopping side. Casey, do you have some stuff you want to get into?
I was just gonna try to find something for Liana and some extra clothes because you said something very interesting, and I saw Mike write something down, and I have a feeling I need a change of clothes.
Perfect. Yeah. So, let's go.
David, you out of all of us should know the best that you don't say shit that your DM can then write down.
I was like, well, I've been wearing these same clothes for probably 30 missions now. Let's go ahead. They're pretty blood-ridden. Let's get rid of these things.
To be fair, I think I found the note you're probably talking about, and it says, old-timey alchemical blood removers are a thing.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Like
love it.
patent medicine alchemical, like, get the blood stains out of your clothes.
Yes.
Patterson's fish powder. Like,
Patterson's fish powder.
It's got one of those like old-timey like 1840 something things with the doctor
Yes.
with the mustache.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
the bottle. Yeah, absolutely. Full on English script.
Oh, exactly. The big flowery script and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
we all know that sharks are drawn to blood, and that's why we use crushed shark powder in our powder that can make blood from your clothes. Like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Not only does it mask the scent, it repels predators.
Yeah. The tiny crushed pellets will attack the blood directly off the cloth. Like,
Oh yeah, that like when you're
There's-
like a half paragraph to a second paragraph into the description, you're in fantasy land at that point.
oh yeah.
It's all the stuff. Cures your ailments.
Look up patent medicines, my friends, and you will
Oh, yeah.
enjoy your
There's-
evening.
Oh,
Great,
absolutely.
Yes.
great stuff.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Ingredient 1, alcohol.
Yes.
Oh, no
Ingredient
wonder
2,
I don't care
cocaine.
about the pain.
Cocaine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Ingredient
Number
2,
two,
opium.
Yep.
Opium.
Yep.
I don't care about my headache at all anymore. That's it.
What headache?
Ingredient 3, lead
Word.
or arsenic.
Yeah.
or-
Mercury. Yeah.
Mercury.
Mercury
All
is
of it.
huge.
Yeah. All that goodness. All right, everybody. We are going to take a quick break. It's going to take me about 15 minutes again to get through this one. So we'll be back a little bit before 9:30 by my time. So like a few minutes before half past the hour. We'll come back.
Knowing us, it'll be 9:30. Don't hold your breath.
I like to like to hope for things.
Keep hoping.
Yeah.
So
Under
correct.
promise, over deliver.
That's
not
right.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be back maybe around 1/2 past.
Yeah, just 15 minutes ish. We'll be back. All right, everybody. We'll be right back, and we will go shopping. Griffith
Yeah.
and Owen going shopping together. This is gonna be great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Griffith hanging out in Silk Shore. Like,
Yeah.
Good times. Good times can be had.
What the heck? I love it. All right. See y'all in a bit. We're back now.
For the love of God.
I was trying to find the transition button in the OBS, and I got it. We're back.
10 seconds later.
And
Yep.
then I finally found it.
And then I found $5.
That's right. That's right. Oh, look, money.
Ooh, look, a penny.
Ooh, I'm rich. All right.
Squirrel.
Let's do this. Let's go shopping.
Yeah, so another fine afternoon in Duskfall where it's pitch black and you can smell the hagfish stew cart dude on the way to
yeah,
Silk Shore.
Of course, it's a guy in a
Yeah.
cart.
Oh, now we have to go through that cart at some point.
On a foot chase or whatever.
It's now a Chekhov's gun
There's-
point at that point.
Yeah, there was somebody who had a fruit cart rolling across the street, so we know a car is gonna hit it. Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever really come to like the rooftop markets with Ohm and
No.
like, or
Mm-mm.
do they know like this is your scene? Because like they kind of dress up more when you go there and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. I think that here, before we go, Ohm would take some time to get Griffith ready.
Griffin would be like in his tattered white shirt that was new in the beginning of this. It has bullet holes in it and
Yeah.
knives, and like his work overalls. It's like probably stained with things,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, oh, what's wrong with this?
Well, that's fine for getting there, but once you arrive, how do you want to be received?
You have to
Uh,
arrive.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Once you're um, uh, on my way over, I'll show you, and Ohm will put on their like big long black leather, like eel leather trench or whatever.
mm-hmm.
I transit like this, non-conspicuous. But when I arrive, I reveal the outfit of the day, and
Oh,
you will completely. We will go unaccosted, 100% on the way to the market. But once you're there, bullet holes are not going to cut it, cousin. We need to get you a little bit of a refinery.
right.
Let me show it. Let me see what we're working with. And
Let's see.
if Griffith would allow, Ohm would dress Griffith.
I mean, I'm sure Liana would get a absolute joy out of this. So yeah, absolutely. And like,
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it probably takes like it probably Ohm keeps futzing until like it's obvious that Griffith is getting
oh,
short, and then it's like, okay, we're done. This is it. Perfect. Everything's great.
I haven't worn this since back in the old days.
Yes, and it's remarkably unmarred by combat as a
Well,
result.
I mean, this is like my nicest. Like, it's not my wedding, obviously, but like,
Yeah.
we had to do. You know how it was back. Go to the courts and social meetings with the other houses, and
Yes, yes,
yeah.
and that's why we're leaving the outer coat. I don't want it to be a courtly session, but I do need. This is good. This is good. This is it's classic, is what I'll say, and um, it's yes. We're gonna get the attention you need because people will take you seriously.
I got it. It's little.
The
It's a little
gold
outdated.
lame scarf is the thing that's going to take you seriously.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if because he's got his gills, right? So it would kind of mess with his breathing. So I don't know if he would be like the scarf thing, but he's like he would wear it loosely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Lorena's
down.
like, you can tie it as like a sash, and it'll just like dangle down. It's like,
Like yellow sash. No.
Ooh, you know
And
what? I would go with that. I have a Middle Eastern kind of flair to it. There
perfect.
you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Owen would say, once we're there, the invitation is to display your tychrosiness in full view. Ojak, the person I meet with, she is always hinting at her tychrosiness. She wears a delicate veil to hide her many teeth, but otherwise is quite obviously tychrosis. So once you arrive, you can sport your strength and your teeth and your.
Do you have a mirror, real quick?
I
Like
have
a small pocket one.
I have a shiny surface, yes.
Okay.
Ohm like goes and has something that they've polished and it's flat-ish, like it does
Right.
it does the job.
So he opens up his mouth and is like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. They're growing back quicker than I assumed. Okay, cool.
They're like the pearly whites in the back.
Yeah. It's like, okay. Let's do this, cuz.
Right. Well, excellent. And yeah, Ohm would take you to the rooftop market,
Awesome.
which is like it's a collection of stores, right? But Ojak is the one that I go to the most.
Yeah, it's a group of vendors who are up in like they've built like stalls with like awnings and stuff. It's not like real big permanent facilities. Like it's not built out of wood stores up there or anything like that. It's more like there's posts and like a big awning and stuff like that that are um on top of the buildings,
Ooh.
and then kind of rope bridges that kind of run between them in different directions.
Does Ojak move around within the rooftop market?
I think Ojex is like kind of like one of the more settled ones.
Okay,
Like it's she runs one of the more established stalls.
gotcha.
So it's a little bit bigger than probably most of them, and it's usually in the one place because you can't set up that much stuff on top of like the small roof over there, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
So she's usually in one spot.
Okay.
Some of the others do cycle around, especially when you get into like vendors who are doing like food and drinks and stuff like that. They move around a lot. You can never find the same person twice.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, so definitely Ohm would take you on a tour of the market in general, right? Like
Mhm.
if there's something that you're looking to purchase or something like that, there would probably be a lot of opportunities even before we got to Ojax. But that's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably like a small it's like a coffee stand that's does like Severosi baked goods.
Oh yeah.
And then like you do spot like a couple of the guys with the hairstyles like Tuhan has over there.
Mm.
Um, sipping little cups of coffee, having some sort of weird rolled and twisted thing, like a croissant that's turned inside out, but like it's weird. Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely would have grabbed one of those.
Yeah, are these two hunts people?
Yeah, they do seem to be wearing Tuhan wears a ring that's like a silver nail that's been like hammered flat
Right.
into a ring. And these are more people who have rings like that.
Okay.
Mm.
Neat.
Did you see that, cousin?
Yeah. A few times ago when I was here, Tuhan was traveling with men like this with the same ring. So, and they look to be patrons, not shopkeepers, right?
Yeah, they're like at like a little table there, like sipping coffee and drinking and like kind of watching the crowd.
Sure.
Hmm. All right. Interesting.
And maybe while we're having our food, or drink or whatever, just try and gauge what is it that they're watching. You know, like what turns their head. You know, somebody walking by, a lot of goods going by,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I think they keep an eye on people who are like hauling goods back and forth. There's kind of a spot where it's like there isn't like a direct one of the rope bridges that goes across to it, so there's like a gap, and then on the other side there's like maybe a stand that's got like alchemical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of keeping an eye on that.
What are you thinking, cousin?
I just seems like they're present in the market again, and I wonder if there's something drawing them here beyond just recreation. If they're working.
He takes a bite and he's like, it could be their turf.
Oh, hadn't considered that. It would be somebody's.
Mm-hmm.
It always is.
Yeah.
When you get done indulging and buying things, why don't you ask Ojax? See what she might know.
Great point. We'll do that.
These are really good. Like I'm gonna have to take the wife here at some point.
Yes.
This is delicious. I should probably buy one on my way back. Cass hasn't shown the greatest taste in food.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Her and I don't eat the same meals.
You know, the warm
If
ones.
possible, I try not to even eat meals at the same time. Like
You know,
Yeah.
you know, cousin, you are a little skinny. You know, protein is good for you. I mean, look at me. I mean, you
I
can't. You,
yeah. I know. I just can't. I just can't seem to keep it down like you can.
our great grandfather's side, iron stomach.
Yeah.
Oh. Shall we?
Yeah, let's get to Ojak.
Yeah.
I think Ojak would like you. And when we show up, Ohm, like in the market, Ohm probably has like this um uh, like yellow, probably like a yellow and white um wrap kind of thing, and maybe with like the what is it, with the yellow like being as an outline to the whole structure, and trying to think of any other adornments. Probably like interwoven within the stalks would be like, instead of the kind of broad black one, would be like a really thin white lace going through the whole thing, kind of keeping it all like tied together in like a
Nice.
Celtic knot sort of way.
I can dig it.
Okay.
Yeah, when you get to Ojex, she's wrapping up with a customer. Um, she's got her usual kind of like headband and like uh veil that she usually wears. She's got them in a few different colors, so they always coordinate to what she's wearing. Her outfit is entirely made out of like peacock feathers that are all like, when she moves, she's never fully exposed, but like they're all attached in like one particular place, and then like they all just drape.
Oh yeah. So there's like a bit of a flow to them.
There's a bit of flow to them, and then like there's times when like different parts of her like the tiger striped skin that she's got underneath are like exposed as she's moving around and doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yes, she's wrapping up with someone as you arrive. Like you probably like hang back because they're paying and stuff like that.
Sure.
But you'll get there and just be like, oh, uh, great to see you again, and happy to see you, and glad you've brought someone else to shop with you today.
Yeah, yeah. Ohm would absolutely like introduce Griffith as their cousin. From back home, and um, well, let's say I've perhaps to an embarrassing degree spoken of the market and in this shop in particular, and he has some expressed interest in coming along today to see what all the fuss was about.
It's like, oh well, glad you've come out today. It's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance. She kind of like holds out her hand, her dainty
He
little hand.
he will take it
Mm-hmm.
and kiss it and be like, "Pleasure is mine. I've seen some of
Um,
the wonderful things that my cousin has worn, and it seems like an excellent shop to spend my money at."
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And she's got this like sort of sheer veil that hangs over her face. And you can see that like she smiles and like it goes like all the way back to like here, and it's just
Mhm.
rows on rows of tiny little dagger teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I will smile just as big as I can. Sean's like, so this is a lovely shop.
She's like, well, let me show you gentlemen what my wares are and what I have available here today. Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
Um,
While we're being shown around,
mhm.
Ohm is going to ask about the Akarosi, to Han's people.
Severosi, yes.
Savarosi, my apologies.
Yes.
To say I've noticed that there seems to be a perhaps a more consistent presence of gentlemen wearing a particular ring formed after some carpentry materials, it seems.
Yeah, she will pick up on what you mean immediately. She'll say, yeah, the silver nails in their territory, payments are made. They don't, they keep the peace. They don't tend to do a lot of like shaking people down, right? That's kind of like where it goes.
That's good.
As long as it's quiet and the tenants are generous, then they don't. It's not like what you saw over with like the cobbler in the Bill Hooks territory. Like
Right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds like they're
the
trying
Silver
to,
Nails are pretty chill about all the stuff here. It's like
Yeah.
because I think she will say like um, managing things like this is kind of secondary to their business. Um, a lot of them are um, basically she'll let out that like a lot of the Silver Nails are whispers.
Mm.
Um, and I think actually in the like they don't have lightning walls.
Wait, hold on a second. You broke up quite a bit. You like repeated a bunch of stuff. Well, say that one more time.
Oh, I was saying that I think in the book when they talk about Severos, it's a territory where like they don't use lightning walls. So like
There's that many
people aren't
whisperers.
entirely sure like how they manage to survive in a place without lightning walls, keep the ghosts away and stuff. I think it also makes reference to their ghost hunting horses. So
Wow.
Severos is Nate.
Wow, that is cool.
I was looking at that. I almost became one. I was like,
Yeah.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
Ma'am, have you heard of it? What out of character? What's it? Tuhon is his
Tuhan.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tuhan.
Yeah, Tuhon.
I'm interested if you've heard of a name, gentleman of that sect by the name of Tuhon.
Give me a fortune roll. Right.
I don't do this a lot, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Why not?
It's at the bottom, right? Roll fortune. 0 die.
Let's go with one.
Okay.
Two. How about two?
Okay.
She's fairly well connected. She works here. She spends her time here.
Yeah. Tuhan's been around.
Yeah, I got a 5.
Yeah, I think she's familiar with who he is, but like they're not like personal friends or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
She knows he's a member of the Silver Nails. She knows he's actually like fairly he's up there in the Silver Nails hierarchy, but he's not the head of the Silver Nails.
Okay.
He's like she thinks he's like second in charge lieutenant. Like he's up there.
Man, out of character, Maisie was really poking the damn bear then at that point. Ma'am, not to pry anymore. You've been greatly helped, but would you might know who he might answer to outside of the Silver Hands?
I don't think she does. I think
Okay.
if there's right, because like you've seen him working for someone, and she knows that like I know they take on jobs for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I know they do. People who have arcane issues, they'll sometimes deal with stuff. People who have hauntings, possessions, things like that. There's been rumors that they actually slip outside the lightning wall to do some stuff too, and I'm not sure what.
Interesting.
That could be a thing, but I don't know of anybody else who has like significant ongoing contracts with them as a group and like she's probably not close enough to Tuhan to have a whole lot of like
Gotcha.
oh yeah no he hangs out with so and so like right like
Right.
yeah.
Wow. Excellent. Enough of this business. I'm looking for something for my wife. She's
Perfect. Like what size is she? I mean, get the whole
yeah.
Yeah, Ohm is
shopping
probably like
montage after that.
Yeah, Ohm probably is all excited, like, yes, let's do the thing.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Retail therapy.
Yay.
It's the best game.
It is. It is. That's
And
good.
since you're one of my prime shoppers, I could have it delivered to your home in 2 days. That's like
Oh, she'll love it.
gift wrapped and everything.
Sorry, and can you have the card read, "Sorry for losing your unicorn. I love you."
She'll kind of be like, "Oh, that was so sad."
It's the right way to do it. Apologize for something you've just fixed.
Absolutely.
That is the right way to do it.
Absolutely. Just all the money. Just shower with gifts.
Yep.
Try to make it forget. It's
Um,
dumb.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, Ohm will get to like kind of shop for themselves and for this, right?
Yeah.
And we'll
And-
like feed in little like side tidbits that I've learned or that I already knew about Larissa. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like because obviously this is not. This is
Oh yeah,
like,
Griffith is like not cut out for like.
no, go.
Here, let's go
oh,
fencing for like the fancy decorative
like,
stuff.
go,
Like,
go ham, I trust you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably one of those things where like part of the challenge is finding something that not only would she like, but it's like also would have come from Griffith, you know?
Right.
So it's like, well, of these 4 objects, which one would you choose? And Griffith picks one. Is like, let's reset the whole thing. Let's put all these back.
Yep. Like, nope.
Let's put 4 new objects out. Of these, which one would you select? And then you pick something. It's like, all right. All this goes back
I
to.
was But it's like that
trying
one
to
has
teach
armor. That one has armor.
Yeah.
Trying to teach Ohm how to shop for gifts for Lorena is like having the people doing like the ESP test where you're holding up the card.
Yes.
What's on this one?
Yes.
3 wavy lines. No.
Yes.
What's on this?
Yes. It's probably a lot of like bringing things out, talking through it. It's like, okay, yeah, no, all right, redo the whole thing. That's good. I like it. So on the indulge vice, just straight up indulge vice, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Submit. Hey, got a 6. I have 6 stress.
Hey, that's what's up.
That is just right. All
That's
right.
wonderful.
I'm leaving here stress free, feeling great, having shopped for myself. Probably got something really nice, and then also shopped for Lorena. That feels really good too.
I think as you're shopping, you're kind of wrapping up and you've paid and she's kind of like finalizing like, okay, we're gonna tie the bow on the package and stuff like that. Another guy shows up, like well-dressed Akarosi guy with like a top hat and like a cane. She like sees him show up and like, I'll just get this finished for you guys really quick to like try to like, okay, thanks for stopping by. Like,
Okay.
and kind of as you're leaving, he kind of like walks up closer and like hands her an envelope and then walks off.
I gotta know who this guy is.
Do we want to check on your friend?
Yeah. So like we're kind of outside of, maybe a little bit further away from the stall.
Mm-hmm.
Ohm says, "You can." I do want to see her reaction when she opens the envelope, but can you stick with him and I catch up with you later?
He taps him on his shoulder and is like, I got you, cuz.
And Ohm will, try and put their coat back on and try and blend in like other people and try to spy on their friend.
Hold this before he leaves the gift.
Oh, yes.
And he takes off his yellow sash. He's like, here.
Thank you.
All right.
Wrap it up.
I think you see, like, where to go because there's like kind of like the folding dividers around like kind of like the back of Ojek's space, and you can kind of know like if I go kind of over here, there's kind of like a little gap, and I can sort of kind of look in through there.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably like on the opposite side of where there's like a little table, and that's where like Ojek sets it down. And on the back, you do get a glimpse that it looks like very fancy, like marble decorated paper. And on the back of the envelope, there's a ribbon that goes all the way around it, and then it's sealed with like a wax stamp of like gold wax with like a signet of a bee stamped into it.
And what's Ojak's reaction?
Ojak gently takes like a very long, narrow blade to like slice it open, cutting through the wax, and opens it up and reads it. Doesn't seem super scared or anything like that, but does seem to like fret a little bit. And then she'll like fold it back shut again, and like she holds it into a candle and then like tosses it into a trash can to burn.
Okay. Is there any window for me to get that? I mean, Ohm is not going to burn. Ohm is not going to overextend.
Right.
But if there's a way for Ohm to fish that thing out before it's done burning, Ohm would do it.
I think there probably is another customer who comes, and there's probably the opportunity to try to sneak back there to grab it.
Okay.
Because like she kind of starts it, and it's in like sort of a decorative metal can, like it's mostly like open space on the sides. You can see it burning.
Sure.
But like,
so like maybe Ohm
it's
can
gonna
like
take some time, but like you gotta like get back there to get it to try to get out.
right. Gotcha. Information. Do I like? I'm gonna go for it. I want to see what's up. Because I've been wondering about Ojak for a while now, and
Yep.
it's time to know. So I think what Ohm's going to try and do is from this vantage point, get something through the slot on like a long stick to cover the can so that it stops burning. You know, to like
Okay.
make it so there's no more oxygen for the burn,
Mm-hmm.
and then get in there and retrieve the stuff.
Okay.
That way, I'm not pulling out an actually on fire piece of paper, right? I need
Yeah.
it to not be on fire when I get it when I put my hand on it.
Okay. Find me an action that works for that.
Right.
And I'll put it out there now that this can be an action that's a long-term action towards the Ojax Alliance's clock.
Right. That's how I want to see
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like maybe there's not a lot of information left on the piece of paper, but it gives me like part of a name or something along those lines, something to help on that clock. Could this be a prowl?
I think that sounds accurate.
Okay. All right. I'm assuming risky position. Or since this is long-term clock stuff, it's not.
down. It's a long-term clock, so we don't really mess with it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
4. Okay, so that is 2 ticks on the clock.
Yep.
Which is funny because if it's a downtime action, then that means like you're like, yeah, you definitely get in there and hook it and get it all back out. It's like just like how much of it has burned.
Right. Yeah, a fair bit, but still something to work with.
Yeah. So there is like still like part of a note. Like kind of like the top half of the note is gone. And I think what's there kind of starts mid thought about like I am still, you promised that you would find me information about the death of Rorik, and I am holding you to that promise. Respond soon. Like you promised this weeks ago. I want to know what happened to him. And it's signed Djera, Djera, Maha, Maha.
Say that one more time.
Djera Maha. DJERAMAHA.
Okay. I'm still holding you to the promise of finding out what happened to Rorik. You promised this weeks ago.
Yeah, like you said, you could have information for me a while ago, and I'm, expecting that information. So deliver. Darn it.
Do I know Rorak?
Rorik was the former head of the Crows.
Oh my god.
The who? I broke out.
Crows.
The crows.
Way back at the beginning of everything, the leader of
Yes.
the Crows died, and that's when the Red Sashes and the Lampblacks went after each other.
Right.
Rorik was that guy who died.
Right.
And we vegetabled probably some of the people. Actually, no.
Right. We were unkind to their brains, and their brains do not have that knowledge anymore.
Yeah, the Storm Crows splinter group is not in real helpful shape for anybody. Yeah, that's for sure.
Huh.
I smell a new mission.
Somebody wants this information.
We don't need a new mission right now, my friends.
Oh no, we got time. Ish.
Where? Where do we have time?
Demas will be back potentially next week. We go knock off whoever we needed to knock off, and then we're gonna need work.
We'll just swing by and pick this one up.
I'll pick this one up on the side. It's coin Mailbell, coin.
This is information that clearly somebody would pay for.
It's what does
I'm not there.
All right, cool. Yeah, so
Fair enough.
yeah, Ohm has something. Who is this person that's putting pressure on Ojak? Good stuff. Thank you.
Wait, who signed it? What was the signer's name?
Djera Maha.
Do we know that name? Do I know that name? I'm not there. I'm sure someone will tell me about this later.
Yeah.
When someone comes back to the lair and has a conversation with you later about this half of a bird note with like the gold B.
Yeah, the gold
Signet
B thing.
stamp.
Come on, that's got to mean something.
and I'm getting ready to track somebody, so
True point.
Are you're gonna follow?
oh, the cousin
That guy?
asked me to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's do this.
Sorry, I thought I muted.
Unacceptable.
Shame upon your family. So yeah. So I'll let him get far up, and I mean he's wearing a top hat, so I can let him get some good distance away from me. I got good eyes, and I'm gonna just kind of, do the whole blend in with the crowd, Assassin's Creed style. Maybe stop at a kiosk every once in a while, throw some coin to buy a little trinket here and there. Not that I care. Always.
Hagfish on a stick, mister?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
Gotta keep
Yep.
that protein up. Gotta get them gains. Gotta stop bullets somehow.
How do you get gains in Duskfall? That's what I gotta know.
Hey, those pier things that the stakes in the ground.
Oh yeah.
Milos could cut him out some of those handholds. He just be straight curling that like at the prison yard on the back of the thing. That's how you get them gains.
That's so funny shit. I love it. I love it.
He's like, oh, we gotta get a heavier one. I've done 20 reps of this. We must go to the bigger shipyard and get a bigger one.
That's right. That's right.
we need a bigger piling. Yeah.
The bigger there it is, pilings.
There it is.
So yeah, he's just gonna kind of follow him, see where he goes. And any given time, if he leaves like the main market, I might start going rooftop stuff.
Yeah, I think he goes down probably back down to like street level.
Mm-hmm.
And Silk Shore is it's extra windy, Even at street level, there's not a whole lot of like real streets that consistently travel the district.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's actually easier to get around Silk Shore by gondola than it is by foot. Um, so he goes down several levels to like what would be like street level in Crow's Foot, but like it's still like there's here and there's a walkway and there's a little bridge and there's a big gap and then there's water and like it's like it's all over the place still. But yeah, I mean if you're gonna follow him, then let's do like a hunt roll, I guess.
Okay. Risky.
Um, that
Oh,
that
we
ends up
don't.
being a good question. Do you want this as like something where you're trying to gather information, or do you want this as like I want to put ticks onto Ohm's clock?
I want to put ticks on Ohm's clock. I'll help Ohm out here.
Okay, because that's going to use your other downtime action.
Ooh, yeah. Question: do you really want to do that?
I really honestly had no other. I'm not. I'm not doing my. I'm gonna take the 3 stress. So I really
Okay.
don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
So doesn't really matter.
Yeah, position doesn't end up coming in. Position and effect don't end up coming into play.
Okay. Do I want a bonus die? Yeah.
You don't want to gather stress during downtime. No.
Eh.
Yeah, 4.
You see him, you track him as he goes into one place, and then you see him leave and he goes into another place, and then like somewhere in there, like maybe he went out the back, maybe he went out a side door or something.
Mhm.
Like you kind of lose track of him. The thing you do pick up on is that by the door of each of these two places, they have like this little metal charm that's like nailed to the door frame. That like is not gold, the precious metal, but it is like gold colored metal. And it does have like a relief of a bee on it.
What's the name of this place? Is there any name on the building?
It's like there are two different shops. One is like a pretty fancy tobacconist. And the one that he ends up like accidentally giving you the slip in is like very expensive imported teas.
Excellent. I will visit both of those places. Go inside, and trying to be Omish, very like what a lovely shop.
Yes. Yes.
I do. You know how long it's been since I've had decent tobacco in this place? It's since the homeland. Tell me about your cigars, sir, or madam, or whoever's in there. Strictly trying to figuring out who's in there.
There is probably a short and fairly heavy Eruvian man with like a fez, and very like you've seen that sort of like Eruvian fashion with like the red sashes and stuff. But theirs is like kind of like rough and tumble. We hang out on the streets, and his is like very like it's very crisp. It's very fancy. It's very shiny. Like he's very well dressed. Like it's certainly in the same kind of style, but like this is like the fancy version of that. And he'll greet you. He will welcome you. And he's like, oh well, yes, it's funny. Tycheros isn't usually known for the quality of their tobacco, but I can certainly understand being attached to what you're nostalgic for the treatments of your homeland. It's like yes, we bring in only the finest tobaccos grown outside of Udwasha in the fields of Eruvia here, and over here we have the cherry blossom wood. Like here's the something something, and here's the thing. The ones on the shelf back there, I'll have to check your ID to see if you have the medical card for. And then the other ones,
sir. Look at me, because I'm in my finer clothes. I'm like, do I really need ID?
Yes.
like,
Doesn't my station speak for me?
I was like, I'm going full. I watch how Ohm did it, and I'm going full Ohm at this point.
He's like, look, I don't want to make any assumptions. There's always, there's undercover magistrates and blue coats are always trying to like check by and make sure that everything's on the up and up. And
I roll up.
You
I
get
run a
that.
clean store here, sir. Nothing
Oh.
unusual is going to go
You
on.
get that
I'm like,
double lettuce. You get it.
I'll roll up my sleeves to show some of the scarring and be like, do I look like a blue coat? Come on now.
that probably makes him like a little bit uneasy.
Fair enough. I went too far.
Like,
Fair enough.
like,
Okay, and I'll pull out whatever I need to pull out. I'm like, give me some of that.
Here's the script.
yeah, he's like, well, here, for have you ever had such and such before and things? It's like it's kind of like,
You said he's like the Red Sashes, right?
he's from that nation. Yeah.
He's from, but he wouldn't necessarily know who the Red Sash. Like, if I name drop one or two of like maybe the lower lieutenants, would that affect? Like, would that?
We could do a fortune roll, see if it helps out. Yeah.
Let's see. I like this. I like fortune rolls. I'm not gambling, but I'm still gambling today.
Yes.
How many die? 1, 2.
I think the Red Sashes are tier 3, so let's do 3.
Okay.
Right? Like, how far has their names spread?
Yeah. Cool.
Damn.
Oh.
Thanks, for all those 6s.
I took them all.
Yeah.
I took them all and I ate them.
Just all night long. I think you'll probably say something about like somebody from the Red Sashes, and he'll kind of like he's turned away from you to like open up like the lid on like this container and like something and start sifting around, and you'll mention somebody by name, and he'll kind of like stop for a second.
I have now burned my contact.
And then he'll kind of like close that one and like goes for like the next lower shelf.
Yeah.
I'm not sacrificing my other coin to get weed. Continue. I'm not doing it. I do.
And like it's. But he will be like, yes, this is this thing, and then he has these like long flowery like names that in Eruvian like they go on and they rhyme and they like have this meter to them and stuff like that. It's like, yes, and, I think, and he like takes a hand out of the top one. Like, I think what you need is the right, like it's this name that rolls on. He's like, and he's taking out like this little like scoop to like put some into a little bag and stuff like that for you. He's like, Eruvian terms don't always translate as well as you would hope. But he's like rolling down the top and like clipping it shut and stuff for you and like putting it on the table and like they're exchanging the money. He's like, but this one, I think the closest you come in the Akarosi Thai. I don't know any Thai Karosi, but in Akarosi, I think it's laser lettuce. So here, there you go.
Laser lettuce. Like an egg. The brightest of lettuce. Burns the eyes.
Thank you. Definitely, as I take it, I leave the store. I look to see how many stems I actually got.
Oh, it's all like
All right.
Yeah.
And then if it's not gonna net me anything, I was also go to the scope out the tea shop as well.
Okay.
So again, come in, maybe not so over the top, knowing how it went last time, but like, I'm not really good at the over the top. But I'll come in. It's like
It's not genuine ghost, right?
Yeah,
That's the deal.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
people can tell you're putting on airs.
So I'll come in and be like, and find this. I was like, my wife is looking for a specialty from our homeland. Could you possibly have any?
I kind of want like just like a 1 die fortune roll, like figure out like where are they from? Like,
yeah, I'll take it. Man.
Okay.
You're probably picking a country right now, or something like that.
Yeah, I was just like, if it's really high, then like, yeah, they're Taikarosi. They're like, oh yes, of course,
that's our
Taikarosi
specialty
word that kind of translates to cousin, but isn't like, yeah, right, like, but no, this is person who runs the shop is probably like Scotlander.
That's hilarious.
I don't know why, but okay.
Because it's going to be some Scottish brew of some kind. It's not
Right.
going to really be tea. It's going to have alcohol in it at some way.
No.
Yes.
It is actual tea. But they are.
They only
you know,
have
able-
black tea. They only have like the highest caffeine tea. You know, like.
It's like there are 3 walls in the shop, and along one entire wall that runs the entire length of the shop to the back, where you can see there's a back room and a door that leads out the back. That entire wall is just all variations on Earl Grey.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
yes.
That's all they've got. Earl Grey with lemon, with mint, with sassafras, or whatever.
With lemon and mint.
Whoa!
That's
It's like 2 levels higher. It's like, oh, that's the good stuff. It's got 2 flavorings.
There probably is one that's like, ones that are over here that like do have like oh, they're peachy, they remind people of whiskey kind of deal, and like in the back there's like probably a wall that has like coffee beans.
Mm-hmm.
They're like various kinds of like light roast, dark roast, the like the Peruvian equivalent of like the civet beans, where like we feed them to cats and then we take them
right,
after the fact,
right.
and like yeah. So,
Yes.
oh,
Won't go like that. I'll take like a dark roast coffee.
like, oh yeah.
Is there anything in this? Like, this is the building. Like, this is the second shot that he gave me the duck on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I want to just kind of take a quick look around to see if that's the only door that he could have gone out of.
There is a stairway that goes upstairs. Like it's like a lot of the shops in this area. The first floor is like shop, and like the second floor is like maybe storage, depending on the shop, and like living space. Like
Okay.
the guy who's like here running the shop
Mm.
probably lives upstairs with his family.
Okay.
Like you could hear small footsteps running around over your head, right? Like
You have little ones.
like, oh yes, a daughter just turned 4.
Whoo! Let me tell you, I get it. I feel for you. And then just not quite a coin, but give him a little extra. Like, hey, I understand, family man. And I appreciate it. I'll keep you in mind next time I come through this way. Thank you.
It's like, oh, no problem.
And I'll just leave and start heading back. And with whatever paper the gentleman gave me, just kind of roll up and light up and walk back towards home.
There you go.
Like,
It's not like he's like totally like selling outright drugs, but like it's like this kind of like spiced tobacco that has like a little kick to it. Like
Yeah.
it's a little fun, right?
definitely gonna remember this one. Maybe not name drop.
Red session next time, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll get back to home.
Cool. Yeah, we'll head back to the hideout.
Cool. So you
One.
you did earn 2 more ticks on the clock for doing that. So I feel like one of the things that does come out of that is you do notice like a conspicuous absence of like any of like the kind of places that would have like, oh, there's like a ghost ward up, or like anything like any of those like kind of like low-key arcane superstitious type things. Like there was just like none of that in either of those stores.
Gotcha. Okay. She's definitely working for the Sylvanera's cousin.
Oh.
At least from what we know of those people, and at least the 2 shops I went to that have that same bee that you were talking about on that, in the lack of spirit banes and charms on people and around the stores, I would say this is their turf, and that she, from what you kind of are talking about, definitely either works or is an informant.
Oh.
I mean, we can bring it up to Maribel and see what she says, but that would be my guess.
Okay. Jack works for the Silver Nails.
Griffith is assuming that,
Okay.
with what he has seen.
Well, who is it that has this golden bee situation?
That's a good question.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go and talk to Maribel.
Yeah.
See what kind of trouble Jack is in.
You think Maribel smokes?
I don't know.
This stuff's actually really good.
Let me try.
Want to try?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
You probably like pass it over in front of Ohm, kind of gets like half a whiz and just like falls over sideways.
Oh,
Got a raid.
Hey, thanks everybody.
hey, how
fun
y'all doing?
times.
Thank you for the raid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo. Yeah, we're definitely not like buying pseudo drugs in a weird city in
Why wouldn't
kind
we?
of Victorian England.
No, absolutely not.
The usual.
So, yeah, let's
We're
get back to Maribel and share all this knowledge about that Ojak is getting letters from strangers, sealed with a golden wax bee embossment.
And I do my downtime action first.
There you go.
Sorry, let
No,
me
yeah.
indulge my vice really quick just so I can get it taken off of my
Yes.
thing.
I was like, we got a long walk.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
y'all
sure do.
have some smoky time.
Grabbing all of the yummies.
Hagfish, I'll take it.
Just hagfish and hagfish and hagfish. Frickin' Duskfall.
I'd like some seaweed candy. That's
I'm looking at clocks. That's that. Okay, cool. I would like to go to the Dusk Manor Club, and indulge my vice. I'm thinking this is like maybe a half a day later, or whatever. Definitely cleaned up, definitely changed clothes, definitely not bringing Cerberus. To
maybe you do want to wait for them to get back from the trip to the tobacconist because that would help with the pain.
Yes.
just a little pain now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go do that. And I'd also like to just kind of keep an ear out for what kind of what it's being talked about,
Okay.
But nothing crazy.
Yeah, they'll greet you when you get there, like usual. I mean, that's a fancy spot. They know you're there to lose some money, or
I've also
usually
been
not lose money because you can spot the people who are lying. But
that's why I play a certain game. I have been getting more money. I think some of the contacts and things that I have done to fall into place, so I'm gaining coin as part of the a little something on the side ability that I took. So I'm getting, it's not as it was when we first started playing this game and I first started coming here. I am far more reputable and richer now than I was.
cool. Yeah, I mean, they're that is, Miss Welker, glad to have you back in the club. And I've been hearing some positive rumblings about the Welker business on enterprise. Sounds like you're starting to get things rolling again.
Well, certainly trying to, and Grell finally had some business sense knocked into him, it seems, which we all know is amazing.
Oh yes. It's like this person who's like by the door is like, oh, I'll take your coat and stuff like that. And you probably do like notice as they open the door to like the coat storage, that like there is like the tacked up these people are no longer allowed in the club, and like about 2/3 the way down is Grell. like,
Mhm.
yeah.
She's fine with that. She even sees it and smirks. Yes. Oh, thank you. And then she'll go to her normal table.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think as that person who's working the door it takes your coat and puts it back there, you do notice that on one of the other hooks is one of those cloaks from the Imperial City that have like the really huge hoods.
Yes. Okay.
Is like hanging up on another hook. Like there's like kind of like the stuff that gets like spaced in close to each other, and then there's like the stuff where like we let it have more space to itself, and like
Mhm.
it's kind of over in that fancy end.
Maribel would nod towards that. Where are they playing at? Where's their table?
It's like, oh, we had a couple people dressed with the style from
The city.
the
Of
Imperial
course.
City. They're in like the High Roller. They're in the High Roller section. It's a game that's like kind of like poker, but it's played with like almost like dominoes instead of like cards. Um, they're big fans of that. It's apparently very popular in the Imperial City. So.
Well, that's just where I was heading then. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So I will go there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I'm familiar with the game. I'm familiar.
Oh yeah, I mean you've
with these
spent
kittens.
time around the Dusk Manor Club for a
Mhm.
long time. You've seen like how almost all these things work. I think this particular one, like there is more of a random chance element to it than like the read the room type aspect of like when you play cards. I know who's bluffing, and like
Mhm.
here knowing who's bluffing isn't as big of an advantage. So
Okay.
it's not a game. It's a game that you've played, but like I can rip people off easy over there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Do I see the person the Heather is suspecting to see there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think you luck out, and it's kind of like that view of like you walking into the room and coming up as their like back is facing the door.
Fabulous. I will take a seat at that table.
And I think they're seated.
I froze. I'm definitely here as Maribel, and I've never been around her without my mask on. So
okay. Yeah. So Cinder is definitely seated at the table. Cinder is seated next to a gentleman in very elaborate, like dress military uniform.
Okay, for the Imperial City.
And he is flanked by two of the like Imperial soldiers who patrol this section of the city. Like they're there behind him.
Do I recognize him?
Give me a fortune roll.
I love fortune rolls. 1 die?
Let's go 3 dice.
3 dice. I'm from around here,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're from around here. There's a good chance
How about a 6?
Oh, that's the Lord Governor of Duskfall.
That she's sitting with.
Yes.
Cool. I am definitely playing at this table.
Oh, lovely.
And I will, I get a feel for it, Mike. Like I'm not going to come in hard and heavy and like talk an ear off, but like
yeah,
friendly conversation, definitely listening, definitely watching. Hopefully not losing here in a second as I indulge my voice.
That would suck. Yeah, I mean they're there. They're seem. She's still fairly formal with him, but not like they clearly have a like more of a rapport than just official capacity.
Okay. Does he call her something other than Cinder?
Yes. At some point he'll call her something else.
Dave, are you taking notes? Because I am not.
Take notes on this one then.
Thank you.
He'll call her Talitha. Talitha. I think as they're doing like another round of like, as they're doing like the next round of like, ante up to get into the next round kind of deal, they're like, this isn't like the person who's in charge of dealing isn't somebody who like personally, but like they're acquainted with like, oh, Miss Welker, if you'd like to get in, you have to do such and such. And to Cinder, they will call her Miss Haig or Miss Haig, Haig.
What was her first name?
Talitha.
Do I know that name? I know that we just pulled it out of nowhere, but do I know that name?
No, that name does not sound familiar to you.
Is she a notable family? Doesn't sound like it.
Doesn't sound like she's from here.
No. No, she definitely has like, she speaks the Akarosi tongue, but like has that accent of like being from like the opposite end of like the nation. It's like, I speak Akarosi, y'all. Yeah.
That guy Casey, that's good.
I'll ante in whatever I need to.
Okay.
Ante in
I kind of want to say this is like a higher end table. Like is saying it's a coin to do it too much? Is that
you broke
far?
up. It's a coin to do it.
Yeah.
How about this? I will bargain with you on this. If I can get through this, I will not take my 2 downtime coin. Is that to stay in the game? Because we both know I'm gonna fuck up my indulge roll. So like this is my 2 coin to stay in the game.
That was the next thing I was going to think of is like, what if we tie it to the indulge roll? But I also don't know if you're able to overindulge right now.
I can't overindulge right now. I am full on stress.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Full of stress.
It's a very expensive game to get into. I'm already tired of trying to mess with your coin. So it's a very expensive game. It would be dangerous for you to sit here and play and have it go badly for long. Yeah.
Yes, I'm aware of that. I think I will play long enough to get information. I will try and like pull it out as long as I can. I mean, I will roll a fortune roll to see if I can like maintain. But I will, when I indulge my vice, I'm going to indulge it at a table I'm comfortable with. So
okay.
For story's sake, I'll go back to the poker table eventually.
Okay.
But for now, I'll put my coin into sitting here and getting info. I mean, how often does one get to play with the Lord Governor? Really? And I am from here and a loyal subject. Not that I'm going to say any of that out loud.
But you'll use it if you need to keep getting
Hell
info.
Yeah, I will. Fuck yeah. This is Welker that you're talking about. What do you need from me, Mike?
So if you're trying to get information, what is an action roll we can tie gathering information to?
Consorting.
Okay.
I'm sitting here consorting with them, like
okay.
Listening and playing and all that stuff. Standard shit, right?
I think this is like more in that free play I am doing a thing bucket and not an actual downtime action. We're playing with timelines. We're being a little fast and loose with that here tonight.
Ooh.
5. Okay.
5 is pretty solid.
So like you draw a little bit of attention, like a couple of hands don't go your way, and there's probably like a little bit of a smirk. There's a little bit of a smirk and like kind of little like playful side eye from Cinder.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, her hand goes better at,
Hmm.
it's probably like she wins the hand and like gets money from like you and the Lord Governor.
Right.
And there probably is like a moment in there about like, oh well, if things keep going this way, maybe I'll be able to go back to the Imperial City sooner than I thought.
Oh, but Dustwell has so many things to look forward to here, doesn't it? Just kind of in that blasé sort of tone.
Yes, so many things to find and acquire.
Sure.
Yeah, you'll probably get a little bit of there's probably a little bit of conversation between the two of them where like the Lord Governor kind of lets slip like, yeah, you keep winning like this, you'll be able to get back sooner. I know you were hoping to be back there already, kind of deal. Like but we can't always define the timelines for the things we need to accomplish. Like
Mm-hmm.
she kind of expected to already be finished with the thing that she was overseeing and ready to leave.
Great.
And there probably is also a comment in there about like most visitors would be happy to stay at the Lord Governor's mansion as long as possible.
Mm-hmm. Of course. I mean, it's the Lord Governor. So much can happen there, right?
Yeah.
I will make sure. They've already kind of introduced me. So I'm sure my name has been heard.
Hi, Consave people.
Hi,
Welcome,
Raiders.
Hey, what's up, Consave? Hey, that's awesome.
Thanks for the raid.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We got the jabronis here. Jabronis, you're beautiful and amazing. Consave, thank you for showing up as well. You're beautiful and amazing. Y'all should all meet each other. Jabroni.tv,
Hey,
Consave, you're all cool people. You should know one another.
Yes.
now kiss.
Just hang.
Wait, no,
Just play
hang
games.
out.
Just play
hang
games.
You
It's
be
old
friends.
meme.
You be best friends now.
Old meme is old.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right.
I don't
This-
want to push on it too hard.
This scene is so huge. Oh my god, she's staying at the Lord Governor. Sorry.
I don't want to push on it too hard, but it would be nice to kind of have someone. I mean, I rolled a 5, so whatever. This may or may not work. Have someone else that is familiar with me, on good terms with me. Also able to kind of sell up Maribel a little bit, because Maribel is trying to be this information broker, right, in the long run. So nothing like over the top, but kind of just the same kind of hints and nods that the Lord Governor and Cinder are giving off. Like, I know we do a bunch of stuff for Squabbling and shit, guys, but like I'm from here.
Yep. And also like, okay, she's here. She's our handler. She's staying at the
Lord Governors. I mean, it's all right there.
She is supposed to be already done, overseeing the projects. Are we the project?
We are definitely the project.
Oh my god.
I think there's some more of the information that comes out, right? There is like somebody else who's a regular at the club who will be like, oh, Maribel, this isn't your usual table. You're usually
I'd give it a
like
try.
she does hype you up about the like how you usually do at the card tables, right? Because like you run the card tables. Like people who don't come to the club often and like don't recognize you are like the ones dumb enough to play you at the card tables.
Hey, I play an honest game. Like
I would never imply otherwise, dear. But
of course.
your win rate is shocking.
I have to make up for my brother.
Yeah. And I think as you're kind of having that conversation and like keeping another ear out, the thing that will come out from the other side of the table there is that Yes, she had hoped to have a project finished and be done and be able to like go back to the Imperial City with good news by now, and that it's like a multi-part or like a multi. There's more than one path to it, and that like other stuff is ready, and then there's like some stuff that's like still finishing.
You know, in kind of that funny way that people with too much money talk about, oh, well, if you need assistance with something, you know, I know people in the city.
I think that probably ends up being the point where like, oh yeah, that sounds cute and all, and then like kind of like gestures off to like the porter type dude to like, you know, bring the rack for my chips. I'm leaving. Like
Yes.
it's like, oh, people are starting to pick up on like, yeah, we're gonna move our conversations elsewhere.
Well, I would also cash out from this game, and Lord Governor, it was a pleasure to play at your side. Hope to do it again someday. Then whatever her name was.
Yes, sir. Certainly, Miss Weller. I look forward to meeting you again. Right? Like,
Of course. Yes, that's how I expected to be treated. And then, you know, say the same basically to the other people at the table. And then I will go to my normal table and do my thing and just kind of watch them as they leave. Or
work
when
out my frustrations on the other card players. Like,
I'm just trying to put my mind together on what is going on and how I'm going to tell that to people without them freaking out about it.
Yeah, how is Demas going to take this news?
I'm a little worried about how some people are going to take this information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, may I indulge my vice, Mike?
yes, you may.
Okay. I press this button. Bonus die, no bonus die.
I think we usually give you a bonus die on it.
Oh, because I'm here?
Because you can tell who's lying, usually.
I can tell when people are lying. It's so weird. And I can sway people. I got a 6.
Nice.
How much stress did you have?
Oh, more than 6.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're near the top, you have like 7 or 8. So it's like,
I think it goes up to 9.
Oh, really?
Unless you have the thing.
I
Like,
was at 8. I was at 8.
For
and now
Griffith,
I'm
it goes up to 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at 8. Now I'm at 2, which is better than it was.
Good.
Okay. With that being done, real quick, and we don't need to play this out. But I need to clear. I'm going to use my extra action to clear heat.
Okay.
Which I will do in the way that I have been doing it with at the bar at Rosie's.
Rosie Devil is there. Rosie's behind the bar. Looks like a female version of Krampus. Hey, Maribel, how are you? Blood sausage, drinks from Tycheros, etc., etc. Yeah.
Yep. And I will be swaying the crowd.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I guess consort actually makes more sense, so I'll just do that. Boop, boop, boop.
So
5.
I think. Where did my handouts go? After the score. Reduce heat on a 5. We take off 2 heat. Okay. So crew.
2.
Click.
thank
Click.
you.
Okay, we're down to 3 heat.
And
Best I
then
can do.
and then we also took on the crew ability to have our cohorts do an action.
Oh, we did take that.
Yeah, so do we want Kess to work on like the hull so that we get our little angry cat robot thing that we can put a soul into? Do we want her to work on that? Or do we want
which of your collection of souls do you trust to be operating that?
Right, or do we want to put the gutter snipes onto reducing more heat?
Can they each do an action?
Well, I think it's 1. I think the crew can have all hands. The rule for all hands. During downtime, one of your cohorts may perform a downtime activity for the crew to acquire an asset, reduce heat, or work on a long-term project?
Part of me doesn't want us to roll the die for Cass, because I don't want to advance the clocks, just personally, but it's probably what makes more sense in game.
I think
To
heat
do?
heat makes a lot of sense too, honestly.
With what's getting ready to go down.
Yeah, because once we go into like political assassination territory, which is I think our next
Mission or two.
right, we should probably be as as unknown on the street as possible.
Want it as cool
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah.
Let's have the gutter snipes like share love and joy throughout the district. Does that sound doable?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do we want to make someone gets to make a fortune roll with 3 dice, the tier of the crew?
Do we think that David's luck is hanging out still?
Right. I rolled 4 6s earlier, so like, come on, roll 20. You love me today.
I say give it to David.
Dave. You can do it.
All right, how many dice am I rolling? It's 3 because we're a size 3 crew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a tier 3 crew and it's a true thing, so let's roll 3 dice.
It's a 5.
Hey.
I'll take a
3,
5.
5. All right,
I'll
cool.
take a 5.
So yeah, that brings the crew down to 1 heat.
Cool.
Awesome.
Sounds good. And then we meet back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Ohm the other character that has the like I get an extra downtime action?
Yes, and I did 3 actions. I healed myself, I indulged my vice, and I did a long-term action to undercover what's going on with Ojak and her alliances.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I really snuck another one out of Griffith.
But he did that of his own accord.
I did it on my own accord, and
True.
I needed
It was
to
voluntary.
Yeah, and you found a deviled lettuce shop, which is great, and a tea shop.
That Demas would enjoy.
Yes.
Maybe not so much me.
Yeah, I don't think that Ohm has anything else I have to do today. Otherwise, I'd spend coin.
At the end of this, I do have a free action, like a free world thing.
Okay.
But other than that,
yeah.
Okay.
Am I taking my coin for downtime or not?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Those poker tables, you know how to work them.
That's me.
Yeah, I mean, there's the everybody comes back to the clubhouse scene there if you wanted them.
Oh, I would definitely leave the package because I would assume Leanna, boy, I should get that name right at some point, is off doing something, and I just want to leave that package on the bed.
Okay.
And then I'm still full dressed, I'm feeling kind of good. Ohm has made me a new man, and I would like Maribel to see the potential new Griffith.
Okay. Maribel did not come straight from the Dust Club, obviously. Obviously. And she is dressed down. But still respectable, just not what she wears to the Dust Club. She is also carrying a small package that she brings in. And seeing Ohm, she gives it to him. And it's nothing crazy. It's just a small bag that when they open it, it has the mask that has been missing.
Oh.
With the bounty hunter's tooth in it.
I kind of look at it and nod. Has it brought you any use?
I didn't do anything with it.
Okay. You may keep it.
I think it's important for you to have it back.
Thank you.
I have my own.
If you need it, course, let me know.
Of course.
There's some news if you have a minute.
I do. Griffith,
Yes.
what are you wearing?
Oh, so I had to
Ohm would
dress
like
up.
very, very quietly. I did the best that I could. Like
I didn't catch it.
I did the best that I could. Like trying really hard for Griffith not to hear, but for Ohm to like impart that like I'm working here.
She got. She would look at Griffith.
I mean, it's not my style, but I've been kind of rolling around in those rags, and I couldn't embarrass my cousin. He's trying to show off his place. So I had him go through some stuff that my wife brought over from the homeland that I haven't worn, and I kind of like it.
It looks smashing on you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Maybe I
Yes.
can finally get into some of your clubs if I ever get out of this place.
Good luck. It looks very good.
She's so cutting. I love it.
I
She's
was
so
like-
cutting.
I was like, come on! I thought we were getting somewhere. I was like, fair enough.
I love it. She's so cutting. Yeah, Ohm would say, I think a few more times at the rooftop market, and we may have a number of outfits available to Griffith here, which I think that Griffith, if you were able to get into the right clubs closer to your targets in a place where they would otherwise be vulnerable, that could be of some utility. Yes?
Yeah, it was and he kind of rambles on a little bit about an old score that him and Leon pulled together, getting a rival house lord,
Yeah.
and how he had to do that.
So I think we should continue this project. Very much like where it's going.
It
Yeah.
has good results so far. Well done.
Indeed. We have learned some wonderful things about
Yes.
our dear Ojak and some of the situations going on with the what is it, the silver nails, the people who are around our mysterious ember. Not ember. God damn.
Cinder.
Cinder.
Cinder. Woo, wrong
Ember
name.
is your horrible NPC.
Yes, Cinder. God. Around our very mysterious Cinder, and where the silver nails are shacking up.
Interesting. I also have information about Cinder, but do tell.
Okay. Well, what we have learned is that the Tuhon, Cinder's bodyguard, he is Savarosi, of course, and they likely, according to our information, Tuhon is high ranking within the Savarosi group, within the Silvernail group specifically. A lieutenant or a captain. Maybe not in charge, but of means, of sway in the group.
Interesting.
And that likely his role is there as a whisperer, because many of them are renowned whisperers in the Silver Nails group. So it would explain some of the things we saw last time they were here.
They also have significant sway over the market, and
It seems to be their turf.
And interestingly, unlike everywhere else around here, there are no spirit charms, no warden warnings, none of the sort. It's like almost they don't have a ghost problem.
I always thought that was an aesthetic choice, because so many of those are so ugly, and the market is so beautiful.
You would think that, but I mean, cousin, look where we live. We have a lightning wall. Not the prettiest thing in the world.
It's true. There are many compromises made for safety, and I understand that. But
Well, aesthetics and control go hand in hand, really.
indeed,
So I can see that a group of whispers keep the night market safe without the need for spirit charms and things like that.
Oh, Tell her about what we learned about her, though.
Oh, Ojak, my purveyor of wares and goods.
Mhm.
Ojak seems to be in a bit of trouble. I
Mhm.
don't know if this is something that we really need to muddy our hands with, but there is a faction that uses a golden bee emblem. She received a letter with a golden wax with a bee embossment on it, asking her to fulfill a promise to understand what happened to Rorik from the crows.
Right. Mike, do I recognize this?
Can you give me a fortune roll with 3 dice?
Absolutely, I can.
And I'll drop the name Jeremiah.
Because I'm from here. I don't know why I keep saying it like that every
Your
time.
local expert is high.
Six.
It is.
With that 6?
It is.
Smokes.
With a 6? Yeah, it is.
It was spring.
Yes.
That's
whole
your
time.
arch villain. Calm down. It's your arch villain. That's a different game.
Sorry, something in my mouth. Yeah, no, it gets better. These are the Dexies. Yeah, you when they say the gold bee symbol and like you see the stamp on the thing.
Oh yeah, I have the letter. That's right. I have it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
The name in it, Jeremiah, doesn't ring a bell. But there is a group called the Hive, which are a guild of high-end merchants. And that gold bee is the symbol of that group.
Okay. That would make sense that Maribel would know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a local gang, or guild, perhaps, known as the Hive.
A guild of legitimate merchants, it says.
Right, because anything's legitimate here.
I do like you say that, but then on the
the sentence continues on after that. But
on the faction worksheet, they are pointedly under the underworld category of factions. So
just in case you were looking,
just
I always forget about the faction worksheet.
Yeah.
So I would inform the guys of what I know, which really makes sense for your purveyor, as they're in the night market and sell good wares.
Yep.
Information on Rorik, though.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I'm unaware of what precisely went down in our own territory.
What do we know, Mike?
Rorik died under mysterious circumstances. There was enough trouble within the Crows after his death that it formed into 2 factions. There's the faction that Lissa kind of brought back together and is currently the Crows. And there was that other little smaller group that you guys interacted with, the Storm Crows, that split off. That were kind of around the guy who could summon lightning, who had been a whisperer for the Crows. So Storm Crows. You're not actually sure how he died. There's been various different stories on the street, and you ask 3 people, you get 4 stories. So,
okay. We just did a favor for Nessa. Was that the right one?
Lissa's the head of the Crows. Yeah.
Let's.
Oh yeah.
I'll write and send a message via the gutter one through Zamira, my personal gutter snipe, and just basically seeking more information about Rorik. Any leads on who or what killed him?
How, where are you trying to send her?
To the Crows.
Zamira.
To Crow's Nest.
So you want her to go ask the Crows about their?
I want her to take this letter to Listen, I don't want her to actually ask that question.
Okay.
Yeah. It would just be from Rosemary.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Coin available if needed. Or no, I'll probably just toss a coin in it. Like, I don't. Yeah.
That's what it's like when you got money. It's like, I'll just put something in there to make this happen.
That's what happens in these games.
That's right.
I think you give the letter to Zamira and like say, here, take this with you. And I think later there's like a little scene where like Zamira comes back with like finishing the end of a chocolate bar and like gives you like almost all of the coin. And she's like, they said they didn't have anything to say. like, and oops, I accidentally bought chocolate on the way home, right? Like,
or dinner or food because
Yeah,
okay.
oh come on, we kind of provide for the gutter snipes.
we do.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay, well that was just to try and get more info, but that's cool. I'm not.
She's like, they didn't.
Did they treat you poorly?
They didn't treat her poorly. They did not treat her well. Like, it's like, you're done here. Like, here's, take your coin and leave.
Did my little slide notice anything else weird? If they were so quick to get rid of someone asking about how their boss got
Former
killed.
leader died.
Mm-hmm.
I think like there's like this bar across from the Crow's Nest, and that's where like you've kind of met there before. That's where like we dropped off the hat box with like Kestis head in it. Or sorry, the bowling bag with Kestis head in it.
Yes, for some reason it was a bowling bag.
Yeah. I think that's where Zamira knew to try to go look for them, but like Liz is like the table in the back. You gotta have the dudes like show you in, and like when she checked in with one of the dudes who's like farther out front, who's like the screeners. It was like that he's the like she didn't even talk to Lissa directly. That guy like turned her away.
Okay, we will deal with that issue later. That doesn't fly. Okay, well, that doesn't pan out. As I said, I also found some information on Cinder.
Oh.
Yes, and I know who she is working for.
Oh, excellent.
You know who our patron is.
I do.
Well,
Our patron happens to be the Lord Governor.
of this place, not like one of the territories. You mean the
Here, yes.
Well,
Ohm immediately looks around the room to see if like Demas is in this facility. Seeing that Demas, yeah, I know. Seeing that Demas is not in the facility, Ohm would relax.
Mm-hmm.
So these masks, intended to communicate with many, could be used for a whole army.
Potentially.
I don't got that many teeth, cousin. Like I can.
But the thought of it is if someone can duplicate Ohm's work,
they can get teeth.
They can get something. Other arcane devices.
Oh, carcass of one of those demon whales got enough teeth for about a couple thousand men.
Yeah. Hmm.
So,
this is a problem.
It's something, for sure. I don't know about a problem necessarily. I think what we do is continue with what you were thinking earlier, what we were discussing. And then we try to see if we can control it, try to see if we can malfunction it. I do believe that we are running out of time.
Oh.
Given the conversations that I overheard. Cinder has projects. Some of them have finished, some of them have not finished. And she is not from here. She wants to get back to the Imperial City.
Got it.
So we need to start making some large decisions on how we're going to operate, and to a point, if we're going to move further underground, frankly.
Okay.
If we feel like we can stay hidden, maybe we don't complete this task. Or we sabotage it in some way.
You used to own whaling ships, right? Or you still do?
It's a bit of a kerfuffle, but yes.
This is long off, Maribel. But if we could potentially get your fleet back up and running, is there a way for us to use one of the ships as our base of operation?
Why would we do that?
They'll look everywhere in the city for us before they'll come out to sea, most likely. Correct?
I don't know about that. Something that is kind of in our hand, though, once the project is given to Cinder and stated as done, it sounds like she's leaving.
Do we want the lieutenant? Do we want our governor?
I'm worried that this project is not for the lieutenant governor here, but is for the Imperial City.
It's most likely for the army.
He pulls out the pistol and is like, of Castas, and be like,
What do you have there?
this is Castas' pistol. Obviously, I took it as a prize. I would have liked to have that rifle that hurt me, but as you can see, and he kind of breaks it apart, it's like, and he pulls out like a regular flintlock. I was like, technology is something the Imperium's definitely interested in. And he kind of puts it on the table.
Well, there is something else to think about. And what, almost to a point, what nations do we start to back? We already know where one of our members stands.
I never intended for my work to be part of some national pursuit.
And I don't necessarily want it to be that either. It's fine. It would have been fine if this was just another gang. Honestly, getting a hold of it.
The scope is manageable.
I don't have all the answers yet, gentlemen. I only have the information.
We're running low on time. And we are concerned about them deciding to answer this for themselves. The most important thing that we have, frankly, are the schematics and notes on how the masks work.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all written in Tychrosi, but that's not difficult to find a translator for. The best way that I can keep them safe is if I split them up and have, parts of the notes spread out throughout this workshop, throughout the city, and then that would slow down progress for myself, but it would mean that if they raided us or found a cache, that they couldn't get all of the schematics in one effort. If that's something that we even want to do. You talk about going to ground. going deeper. That would be a step, is to make so that the knowledge itself was more difficult to coalesce into coherent notes.
Right. I can't, I don't want to make decisions, and honestly, I think this is one where Demas certainly needs to have a say, and we need his input. I don't feel qualified enough to answer this, even though I know he's going to be stunted to one side, of course, which is fine.
I wonder what Satara would think.
We do need to tell her, and she might have a solution for us.
Would
She
do
could
that.
potentially have a
Wow.
how we complete the job but break it afterwards. Unfortunately, just to be realistic, they know that this thing exists, and you may not be the creator of it. They might find another person to do it. But we can do everything we can to protect your work and make it harder for them to duplicate into the future.
Okay. I think making decision about what we want to have happen and to understand the likely outcomes
Mm-hmm.
and our own feelings on that. I feel like that's the next step.
I agree.
So we speak with Demas, make a group informed decision, maybe tell Satara, probably tell Satara, hear what she has to say. And then we decide what to do. Is that right?
Yes, I think so. There is one last problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's one last problem for me at the moment. I am a lawyer. I am part of the Imperium. I'm from here. I'm not Tycheros. I'm not Scotland. I almost have a duty to help this project finish. If I don't, and it's found out that Rosemary is Maribel and I was involved in this, that treason may be worse for me than just enemies of the state as you would be. So I can't take this lightly. I know you two aren't either, but that is something that is going through my head as we talk about these things.
Difficult situation you find yourself in. Well,
Yes.
I mean, all of this is difficult, but I understand.
I think you're right. Dealing with nations is a completely different beast than dealing with gangs. And knowing that we were dealing with a nation, even if it's not yours, is still a problem. It being yours means that there's a clear, frankly, more options. Right?
What do you mean?
Well, you are a family that has been nearly ruined by the machinations of, my understanding is the court and the people of this city.
To a point, yes.
The society itself allowed
We
that.
were lowered a peg for sure. Yes.
Something like this would completely change the Walker estate.
It would. interested in tying the Welker name to the Imperial Army.
It's if nobody finds out, your identity is safe and you're not a traitor. If we decide to go to ground, if the decision is that it should be found out that the link should be made, well then, the Welker family would stand to gain quite a bit, potentially.
I don't disagree with that.
It doesn't displease me. I don't know. The thought of these masks being used for war is just not something that was in my head at the time. And I'll have to take some time to consider that.
I don't want to see them used for war. If that means anything.
Yeah. Which kingdoms are still free? Which kingdoms aren't under imperial rule? None of them, right? Tycherosi, maybe.
Tycheros is a separate nation. All the other nations in the setting of the Shattered Isles
Our
are
backstory
part of the
is
Imperium.
Right.
is that
Yeah.
we're the last holdout. That's
Right.
what I'm taking from. We're the last holdout.
Well, Tycheros is far enough away that like it would be difficult for it to be part of the Empire.
Yeah, like even
Right.
if they captured it, how long could they really hold it before just logistics made that impossible?
It's not worth the effort. It's easier to just have a trade agreement or something.
Yeah.
And we know that a lot of Scotland
You broke up.
from Demas.
Sorry, Heather, you broke up.
A lot of Scotland is displeased, at least what we can tell from Demas.
Yeah, I mean they spent 35 years fighting for their independence until they were finally knocked back down and brought under the Empire.
What if we had to back a horse in the race?
Why not both?
Now you're talking like me.
I
learn, if not slowly.
there's something about these masks I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know their range.
Well, it's never been something we've discussed with Cinder, so...
Yeah, it's gone untested. If the range is sufficiently far, then that alone could make their ability to control, tighten their grip, all the better. If their range is so short, meant for within the city block or so, then that's a smaller problem, smaller capability.
But we never promised range.
We didn't.
We promised the ability to use it and potentially key it to an item.
Yep.
Then let's lower the range.
Okay. See what I can do.
Let's make that plan. I know that we had the ability to talk a distance. Whatever we give them, make it the shortest range possible. We'll tell them that was what was capable with what we had.
Yep.
And we'll keep that other knowledge for ourselves.
Okay. Let's I feel like we need more information, but I like that plan. I like the idea of bringing this in a little bit.
Yes. I'm sorry, gentlemen, that's the news I had to deliver.
Important to know. Very important to know.
Important, and I'm sorry for you to have to try to explain this to our fearless leader.
I mean, what's to tell him, Demas? We're working for the Lord Governor, and well, we're already hurting one member of the upper government. Why not two?
Your sarcasm is palpable.
There is something to be considered just around the Lord governor wearing a mask.
I see your twinkle in your eye, and I could tell you right now that is not unless you get a lot better at those face mimics. Nobody's gonna buy somebody in that, and nobody's gonna buy the Lord Governor pulling off a lowly crime.
Why lowly crime at this point? High crime. Spectacular crime, cousin.
High crimes and misdemeanors.
Maribel, you're from an affluent area. Would a Lord Governor be caught dead in Crow's Foot?
This changes the game. I already have Cinder's face.
How did you get? I don't want to know.
And Ohm will
I will say Ohm is
like and like make Ember's or not Ember's, goddamn Cinder's face appear. It's like
Either one's just as scary as
it's true.
Yeah, we
No,
don't like either one.
Yeah, it makes Cinder's face appear. There was a brief moment when she tried the mask. And inside that moment, the mask was ready to receive a face.
Ah, bold. I like it.
Let's not put the cart before the goat. And thanks. Did you see that I had to take a pause to think about the words I was saying? Let's not do that. Let's work on things that we can control for the moment until Demas resurfaces.
Correct.
Reduce the range on new masks.
Okay.
With something within feet, because as we know, the original comment was keyed to something. So
right.
Being close to that something that will bring it down. I think we need to look at a completion time, but we can talk to Demas before that.
Okay.
I feel conflicted, but that's all right.
Same.
And
Same.
Well,
I want this to be a boon for all of us, and now it feels like it almost can't be.
I think we're missing the part that we can go talk to Zatara, who may have insight more than we have, which could be very useful.
Yes, agreed, completely.
Mm-hmm.
She may see other dimensions that we just can't from down here in this box.
Okay. Then I think we know what we need to do for now. Okay. And soon we'll talk with Zatara. And we'll move forward.
And here we are. We thought we were just going to go sell some information and help out our Takarosi friend, and now we're looking at a whole lot more. Whew.
Yeah, this is...
He takes out one of his things and just kind of lights up. It's like, great tobacco shop, by the way. It's quite lovely.
Ugh, that stuff stinks up the place. Open a door.
I'm getting ready to leave, Maribel. It's just stressing out. It's been a long time since I've done political assassinations. Always
We're
messy.
not doing that yet.
Right. I'm just talking about the one that we have on the docket. I'm not even. Trust me, I'm not even thinking about what Demas might have to say for this information.
We'll see. We can only wait and see.
Well, I have a cobbler to see about some shoes.
If that isn't the code, nothing is.
Yes. All right.
I actually, I'm sorry.
I don't have anything else.
I
Me
was
either.
like, I'm actually going to see our cobbler friend.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't get ganked by the freaking.
No,
Yeah, that's a whole nother problem.
That's a compared to what we just found out, that is a minor problem in Griffith said.
I mean, we're kind of to that point, right, with where our level is, that like
Yeah, tier
there are
3.
little problems under our feet that we just have to stomp out, and then there's the bigger issues that we have to deal with.
Right. So, but this is actually just a little wrap up, wholesome thing that Griffith wants to do.
Okay.
He's actually in full mask, full outfit, and he wants to head to the Cobbler house, and he gets there and he knocks on the door.
Yeah, I mean it's the first floor is kind of like the other places that you were at. The first floor is like a shop, but here it's like there was like one building that was a shop, and they just like basically put up a plywood wall down the center, so you get like this, like instead of having like the 12-foot wide shop, you get like the 6-foot wide cobbler shop. But it has a like Barson and Barson cobblers, established 817 or like 30 some years ago. This cobbler shop was started. Maybe it's like Barson and Sons. Like this guy's actually like the son. Let's list it.
I forget his name. What was his name?
I just had the right page here, and then I flipped away from it. Where did it go? It was written in red. I don't remember that much. Nope. Casta, that's got to be too far back, right?
She's dead.
Yeah, and like she was dead long before we went to the cobbler shop. August 26th.
I was gonna say I need a new enemy, but we're good on that.
You and me, cobbler, to the death.
To the death. Choose your weapon. The sole of a shoe. All right.
Well, I've got this small tack hammer.
Yeah.
Yes, he is Clave Barson, the cobbler.
Gotcha. Clay Boston. Boston. Yeah, can't speak.
Barson, yes.
Okay. Hello, Clay Boston. Still probably butchered it.
Barson, but yes, I here for some shoes, sir. Did you say you were masked up and everything?
Yeah,
or-
I'm all masked
okay.
up. Yeah.
Some shoes, sir. I mean, I've got some black ones over here. They match your mask. He probably like kind of mildly trying to cringe away from like big dude in a mask coming into my shop. Not sure how I feel about this.
No, be easy, friend. I come from a friend, a tall, lanky fellow. You probably remember him, and his cousin. They send this as a gift. And I will lay out my last coin, or whatever it would be worth.
Oh. I mean, I can't stand to be in debt to another. It's just...
We the faceless, and please keep this to yourself. Know of your problems. And we see fit, we don't like it. Especially with good, hardworking a soul like you. Consider this a gift with no strings attached.
Oh well, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so. If you ever need any souls mended, you come right down here, and I'll get to them as quick as I can. We'll hop straight to it.
Absolutely. Hopefully, things around here will change as soon as we're able to, and hopefully, this will keep those butchers from messing with you for a while.
Oh yes. Thank you so much. Certainly help deal with the bill hooks, the payments to the bill hooks, and providing for my family here.
Yeah. You said he had 2 daughters.
Yeah, I think we've said before he has 2 little girls.
Yeah. Make sure those little ones can eat well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. He probably calls out to one of them and like I don't remember if we ever get either of them names, but like run down to the bakery and get a loaf of bread.
Mm.
Like gives her a little bit of the money to like go take down.
No. Hopefully, we can solve your issue, sir.
Oh,
And
I certainly hope so. If there's something I can do to help, then not much good in a fight, obviously, but I mean, glad to support however I can.
maybe not this time, but we are in need of some eyes in the area. Never put yourself in danger, but if information or you hear something, just remember us.
Okay.
And with that, he will tip his hat, tip, do the whole tip hat thing, and see his way out.
Cool. Yeah.
Curse my
Griffith steps out into the drizzling rain and like kind of like end of episode fade to black. Directed by Dick Wolf, right? Like all the Law and Order episodes.
I like your hustle, man. You're always like, you're always getting like little toeholds and everything.
I can't help it. I can't help it. It's just
good.
like, and he was like, Mike, you did a good job. Like, that dude got beat all to hell. I'm like, all right, well, the bill hooks are pieces of shit. They're going to die at some point. We got other problems right now, but they're definitely on Griffith's list of, I will make their life miserable. They have upset not only me, but my cousin, and that is a terrible thing to do. I love having this too. It's amazing, that little gift of you get 2 stash at the end of every downtime. It's like, I'm not as worried about coin anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. Except we give everybody your cookies for the end of the night.
Cookies.
Yay. As a crew, we didn't actually run a score. Did we contend with challenges above your current station?
I want to make an argument for Maribel's whole situation.
Reasonable.
Yep.
We will take one there. Did you bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one?
We actually did a lot of savvy things. We got a lot of information by leaning into what we're good at.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll throw it in for that. Did we express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right at the end, yeah.
Then we are 1 XP short from another advancement next time.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
I like how we don't have any turf, but like we are definitely powerful. We'll get to that.
We do a lot of
Powerful.
things. We do a lot of things. We don't get a lot of turf, but we do a lot of things.
I would say, like, that's almost better. Holding turf and holding stuff like that costs money and other things, whereas having just a little bit of turf that you control very well and then controlling the information around it, it's far more what Maribel would want.
Oh, yeah.
Extending ourselves out too far is dangerous.
So
Yeah,
it would be
we'll
really nice to get informants.
I know.
There's always more stuff on that list. It's nice to grab.
Yep.
Okay, Ghost. Did you address a challenge with tracking or violence?
Yes.
You tracked
once
it
or
thing.
more than once. I think once.
Once. Yeah, once.
Did you
Okay.
violent? You
There's-
didn't violent.
No, I was actually quite peaceful this round. I know it's a rare thing.
It is. It's amazing. It's
Okay,
beautiful.
cool. There's 1 XP for that. Did you address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem?
I don't think so.
Took
What?
care of
Can I make?
us. I mean, like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
kicked ass in healing all 3 of us tonight.
It's true. There was a lot of
That-
physical action going on tonight.
And you had to dress. I was gonna make the comedy joke there. You had to dress Griffith, and that was just technical and mayhem and yelling and cursing.
I'll take it. I'll take the one.
Okay, we'll take them for trying to have to dress up Griffith. Well, we can come back to the end for the issues from your vice and trauma.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Maribel, did you address the challenge with deception or influence?
So I want to say both because I was deceiving while I was at the or
So there was definitely doing stuff at the club, which I think there's definitely an XP there. I don't
Okay.
remember if there was something else that you did tonight that was in that.
no.
Okay.
There was definitely an attempt to with getting info from the crows.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It didn't
With-
pan out, but you made the play, you know.
Yeah. I tried to use my influence to get info from the crows, and then I was kind of deceiving Cinder at the tables.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, it like the stuff that you were doing there definitely falls
I've
in
never
that
met you
category.
before. You
Oh,
wave
yes,
from
of
the
course.
west or whatever direction she's from.
Southwest.
Yeah.
I mean, not only that, that's an
With
easy
that
place.
accent, she's from the southeast. I know that accent real well.
Oh, this is because of where Mike lives.
I'm just saying that was an easy
That's-
play for Maribel. That one was easy.
Yeah.
That's not how they talk in St. Louis. But okay, so for everybody, did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Few times,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So 1 if you hit it once, 2 if you hit it more than once.
Just once for me.
Okay. I think there's definitely at least one there for each of the Taikaroshi guys,
Yeah.
Mhm.
persons, from all the various stuff that went on. And then, did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas during the session?
Yes. Soft.
Okay.
One was pretty soft.
I would
But
almost say
I don't think that I struggled with it though. I think the obsessed almost got me into trouble, but it didn't.
But I could have.
I
could
could say
have.
you had I could say you're obsessed hit twice because of the let's get the governor's face in a mask.
Well, that would be if he actually tried. Like,
Right,
if
yeah,
that was
yeah,
like
it's
him
like-
actually like the governor's right there, and we're in the middle of like a crowd, and but I'm gonna try to do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
then I can see it. Like,
Yeah.
having a wild idea, I don't think quite trips it.
Can I give you a fight for soft? Because you were like, or almost very gentle and very concerned about Maribel
Yeah.
and like why she did what she did.
Right. And
So
I was kind of thinking of that scene, and I was also thinking of I don't want my tools used for war. You know, like a
Mhm.
straight up mercenary would be like, awesome, I get to sell a lot of units. This is great. I can't wait.
mhm.
You know, whereas Owen was like,
My
"Whoa."
guns are the best guns.
Yeah,
Buy,
exactly.
buy.
Yeah, whereas Owen was like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna be okay with this kind of thing. So that
Right.
was, I figured I had one, at least in one of those two scenes, I had a point of soft. I don't know about 2 points, but certainly one for the game.
I ironically was not unstable, vicious, or reckless.
Thank God.
You were almost reckless in those stores. Like
I
I was like, is he gonna go up those stupid steps? And then Mike put the kid running around upstairs. Like, no, he's not gonna go up there. It's fine.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
I mean, if he wouldn't have said anything, I would have been like, "What's up the stairs?"
Right, I know.
I did kind of want to go to the back of the shop, but I'm like, I've lost him. Like, I'm not gonna.
I knew it. I knew it.
There were
As soon as you're like, I go into the shop, I was like, he's gonna go to the back of that shop. He's gonna go upstairs. He's gonna go in the basement. He's gonna go somewhere.
no. I was pretty tamed.
It was good.
I was trying to keep on Maribel's good side today.
What? We're family. We're family now.
Yeah, you definitely
What-
you definitely expressed your like family ties in all of that scene in the beginning, and then you and I did that again later on. Yeah.
Yeah, I took the thing that Griffith is going to try to show is that you can trust family.
Mm-hmm.
and he's hoping that maybe he gets to punch her brother in the face because he doesn't like her brother.
Out of character. Out of character, and Maribel wasn't there for it. And Dave's already laughing because he knows you did one of the exact things that Maribel wouldn't want you to do.
Oh, did I? What I do?
You said that this is from the Faceless.
No, did I?
When you gave
Yes!
the coin to the
I
cobbler.
sure
with the
did.
cobbler.
I sure did.
Yeah,
I
when
sure
you
did.
gave the coin to the cobbler, yeah. But
But I did say at the end of that, keep this between us.
Oh yes, because that's how that works.
I mean, I'm a big intimidating shark man. He's a little cobbler. If the big intimidating shark man says, "Hey, keep this between us," and I'm the little cobbler, let's not.
Until he gets like beat up or something from the
until
bill
all
hooks.
those like big wall of butcher guys like show up again, like So
We're
tell
gonna
us
have to
about your
take their
kids
turn.
with like the big cleaver in the hand. Yeah,
We're gonna Ohm and I are gonna have to go kill those fools. That's just how that's gonna end.
My God.
Like that's how that's gonna happen.
I'm okay with us keep plucking away at their turf. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they even messed with you, so I'm like, well.
They did
Now-
mess with me, which
Yeah.
is
It's like-
problematic.
It was like, well, now we just gotta kill
Yeah,
them,
no,
right?
they're
Now
the
they
gang we
gotta
take
die.
from. They're the gang.
Yeah,
we
They are the gang we take from
we
you.
used to take from the lamplighters or whatever, the lamp black.
And
the
then-
lamp
Blacks.
blacks.
Yeah, we don't take
then
from
we
them
blew them
anymore. We
up.
now take from the bill hooks.
Now we just need to get another ghost bomb and ram it into the butcher shop.
If only
Kaboom!
if only we knew someone who had something like that.
I know, right?
I wonder who has that.
Hmm.
Okay. What a game. Thank you, Mike.
This was awesome, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank
This
you.
is-
Thank
this
you
is
for
real
coming out
good.
and playing. Thank you folks for watching.
Thanks,
Yes.
James.
Yeah, thanks to everybody for the raids, everybody who stuck around. That was a blast and a half. That was so fun. Let's look around. Is there somebody that is still streaming that we could raid?
I got Cave Geek Art.
Yep. Cave Geek. I've got you know who we where do I know Lorecraft from? Oh, Lorecraft was one of our buddies. Friend of a friend. They're doing Dungeons and Dragons. Super Dylan is doing Dragon Age. Cave Geek Art is making art. Let's do Cave Geek Art because he's making. Looks like he's doing some kind of map.
As
Always
he
doing-
does.
He's always doing a map. I'm trying to see the whole thing. Oh, it's like a whole scroll thing. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go watch this guy make some maps and hang out with him for a little bit. So stream, we are going to raid this lovely gentleman, Cave Geek Art. He makes maps out of like leather and stuff, but tonight he's doing a Photoshop map. They're all like fantasy based, they're all D&D friendly, that kind of thing. So we're gonna send all of us over to them, and toss some emojis in chat, give him some love, that kind of thing. He's a really fun guy. And everybody at home, thanks again for watching. As always, have fun and play well.
May all your rolls be crits.
Mega crits.
Right.